I'm going to record it to the cloud anyway. Oops, there we go. That's the... I'm going to turn that one down. Stop already. There we go. Okay. Looking good. We are streaming live, and now I'm going to record to the cloud. Thank you, robot. This is Eden Cooperation, Eden Co-op, and we are clicking on our computers. It is the control center for the revolution. And we are live, and we are not going to tune into the Zoom or anyone's comments on YouTube, if anyone is watching, but it's to get the practice. This is kind of like the HQ control center in that way.
It looks and sounds like that right now.
It'll turn into a talk show at some point when we have people chiming in and joining and being like, what's that thing about? And then we'll have like one screen up over there with what's going on the Zoom with other people joining and even showing the YouTube. We can get pretty fancy with it. And then running the OBS simultaneously, I guess. So today's product day. Elliott's going to be sharing about the product. We've got...
I'm excited.
Matthew.
I know. We've been talking about it so much. To see it in person
I
is
know,
like
he's
great.
like cramming it in like it was this freaking like college homework assignment. But it's going to be ready. And even if it's close, it's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll show you, I can send the link in so that everyone can interact with it, and just so you know, it is running off my laptop right now, not off of a dedicated server, so if it's a little bit slow, that's the reason why. And yeah, we've got very sort of basic UI down, and the flows really worked in for people's profiles and their listings, and then we can expand into the businesses. I want to get more GTM guidance on that side of it, as well as with dashboard views. But otherwise, just show kind of what I have so far. I will send the link.
You know what, you can walk us through on the Zoom. I can send you the Zoom link and then everyone can just log into the Zoom. Or if you want us to...
I think, well, a thing about this website, and it's like it really works well when we've got the data interacting with people. So if everyone goes in, just like creates a sample profile, creates a listing, we'll be able to see it all happen on our devices live in real time.
Can you send us a link so we can start doing that?
Yes, and send that right now.
And I would, you know, if you're on your laptops anyway, do you mind actually just logging into the Zoom? And then we can take turns showing how we're interacting with it and see what it actually looks like.
Sure.
So I'll send you the link. It's a little bit clunky bumping around on this thing.
I'll send it to the Telegram as well.
Great. How do you want me to send it to you? I can send it through the Telegram group to everyone. Do you have Telegram on your thing? Or
Yeah, I just sent it in.
I know Telegram on my computer, yes.
Okay, so I'll just do SMS.
And this is an ephemeral link.
Wow.
You're gonna want to kill your microphone.
I'm not
Actually,
connected to it.
that was my microphone. My apologies.
That was yours. Okay, funny. You're going to want to kill your microphone. Audio guy.
Paying attention to too many things at once. Okay, let's do this.
So this link will work for this period of time while I have it launched from my laptop, and then we'll be able to have it for as long as we need right now. If we need to put it up on a server, I could just spin that up, no problem as well.
Oops.
No taker? Yes, no?
Yeah.
And can you approve mine real quick?
Yeah.
Thank
We'll
you.
get in there in a sec. We just got to share this with Swan
Yeah, no
too.
Look over your shoulder well. Yeah. So actually,
If I would have known we'd be on Zoom, I would have made my hair.
Yeah, man. They are approved. My computer's definitely doing a lot of things right now, but it seems to be doing them. Alright, I'm going to send this to you, Swan.
So I click on the link, it's asking me for a login.
Yes, so you go ahead and create an account. Sign up for an account. This will be your
Exciting. Yay.
Just try for a while.
Are you sending through Telegram or what's up?
What's that? Great. I'm just unplugging my laptop.
Hello.
It says-
How much work did Claudebot get done this weekend?
It's a very steep trend upward.
Haul over this way a little bit.
Savannah.
Matthew,
Nice to meet
Oh,
you.
you guys are meeting for the first time?
Yes, we are meeting for the first
Hey,
time.
we should do a little go around to just make sure everyone's introduced to everyone. So we're gonna do brief intros. I know it's a little bit slow, but we'll get very functional soon. Hop right in over there.
I'll get through.
You can plug in around or underneath Elliot to
Yeah, I'm okay for now. I just brought it for in case.
Yeah, well, I've sent you the WhatsApp, the link through WhatsApp, so you can get on the Zoom so that we can each use the beta and take turns showing how we're using it in the Zoom. So we'll all get in the Zoom. It's going to be very messy Zoom field, but we're actually recording this process. You can move the smoothie if you need to, and just put the thing on the table. Yeah, there you go. And you can nudge over if you want to a bit more. It's a good 6. So, okay, now we're 6. Now we're a hexagon.
Yes.
Now we've gone spiritual, Metatronic out of the satanic 5-element Taoist. Nice evolution. All right.
Do you mind if I borrow your power block? Because it's not my computer's not charging from this.
Okay. Back to good old Zoom. And did you send it to us in WhatsApp, the link?
Yes.
So log into the Zoom, you guys. We'll just have too many people in the Zoom. It's okay.
It's on your Zoom.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go to
Okay.
you.
What's your name? Should I just keep following the prompts, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the prompts, again, this is another area where it shows like we have kind of a Typeform-esque onboarding when the user first signs up. Right now it just asks for your name and your profile picture, but we can have it go into any level of depth now.
Recording in progress.
Shut up, your
Mute your
mic.
microphone.
Yeah.
I kind of like this part though. It's kind of like freaking public access TV in the early days. Everyone's got their laptop. It's funny because the owl stays above the laptop edge, so you don't really see it too much. It's pretty amazing.
Will I be able to add a profile picture later, or should I look for a picture now?
You can add it later. You can add it later. That's another area I need to have it explain that you can have it added on afterwards.
No, it's just I
really
wouldn't know where I would have a picture of myself now.
Every single time that I open Zoom, it's a different layout. Every single time. Every single time.
What?
Zoom.
Yeah, they change it all the time.
Every single time.
Do you have enough light or no? Too much light?
A little too much light, but it's okay. I just need to find the button.
Curvy. And can you post the link in the chat for the Zoom?
Yes.
On the left.
Oh, interesting. So I told it my name is Savada. I uploaded a picture. I go to the dashboard. It says, "Good morning, Elliot."
Oh, does it say that?
That says it right here. Good morning, Elliot.
Oh, I should be doing that. Should we pull this from your
Everyone is
profile?
Elliot.
That's okay.
Oh, I know what's wrong. Give me 1 second here.
That's why we're test driving it, right?
Using the metadata.
All right, so let's see if we can. Everyone's in it, so I'm just putting myself in the hell. I love all the clickety clacks. That's killing me. Alright. Is everyone in the Zoom yet?
No, mine's still booting.
Oh, booting. Panda strip is showing so we can see everyone in their laptop covers. It's pretty cute. You get to see it when you're in there. And alright. Welcome to Eden. Glitch, glitch. Okay, maybe this is gonna work. I'm Scott, and the big gist of what we're up to is to launch a platform for community and personal empowerment and intelligence. And that starts with everyone being focused on their screens. Hey kids, don't do what we're doing. The local directory and marketplace is our core thing that we're going to be looking at today. That's our product, is to give people a tool to like generate a profile really simply that, you know, basically does what old school directories in towns like Topanga have, but they're kind of like just fragmented and there's just like 300 or 400 members on one directory or another, and then tons of people asking for resources in WhatsApp groups and elsewhere, and we're going to try and put that all together in one place so that more offers can meet more asks and generate more economy really soon. And we want a tool that makes it easier for people to generate their own profile, kind of like a MySpace for right now, that include video about you, what you care about, what your offers are. If you're multi-dimensional like Jeremy, you're going to have 3 or 4 different offers. And we're prototyping what that tool does right now. And I'm going to bring it up, I guess, or maybe Savada, you want to share your thing, or
Can?
yeah, and just show how you're working with it. And I'm going to load it up, and then I'll go next, or someone, whoever's messing with it. Is everyone messing with it already?
Yeah, it's great. It says "Good morning, Elliot."
Yeah,
even though
I'm
I said my
getting it.
name is
He's
Swan.
fixing that. He's
Yeah,
fixing that. I'm not even going to log in until
I
it's
knew
fixed.
I knew immediately what the issue is. But I had
So-
to-
That's how we're debugging on the fly.
So I'm on the listings dashboard currently. I just created a little test listing, fairly simple, and I'm trying to see how I can just navigate through this without having Elliot's input, and it makes total sense. I see I'm in Topanga on the left here. See that I can just click on my listings, and that
This is great. I love
gave me the
this.
opportunity to just add a new listing, seeking, offering, right? So I can seeking, just do whatever, right?
So home,
Love of
It's
my
like-
life.
yeah.
That's what I'm seeking.
Los.
So like the home, is
The
it going
loves
to be
here.
like a compilation of a lot of different things? Like what do you imagine the homepage to?
I just want it to be like whatever it is when you log in. What's going to be the most important thing for the user to see? Like
Oh yeah, have it customized and personalized to them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like about Facebook Marketplace. Like I was like searching for cars, so now when I just go into Facebook Marketplace, it's like a bunch of cars that just shows up now because they know that I'm looking for a car.
Exactly.
By the way, you guys are looking for a car, 4-wheel drive.
We have a $1,000 kind of shabby Chrysler minivan available right here.
Wait, is that Chrysler?
2,000. I think it's
2,000,
2,000.
Just for $1,000 bucks?
$2,000 for a Chrysler minivan. It's like a big back. It needs a big clean because it's had a lot of dog in it. But if it got a good pro cleaning, it would be completely usable.
How many mileage is it?
I'm not sure, but
I think it's like 150K or something like that. That's my guess.
Let me check it out. Like, it'll be good, like a good in between car until I get it. Like, everything's like up to date, right? Everything's up to date. Like the.
Smog check on all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
it's like. And
I'm putting it
right
until the
there.
15th.
Talk
Like,
too much.
yeah, there's a woman with a Toyota Yaris 2008 that she's selling for like 2,500 as well. So let me try and see.
we're gonna
Tell
bookmark
me
that
if
one.
the name has been fixed.
But, okay.
Let me check.
Let me refresh the page.
No, it's
I'm
still
still
showing up as
Elliot,
Elliot.
Good morning, Elliot.
So I noticed also another bug. If you upload a photo that's more horizontal, it corrects it when you do the people where it's like even, but then on the profile view and when you upload it, it's scrunched. So that's something to look into.
Okay.
It's a small little.
I'm having a different issue with the profile picture actually. But
Really?
yeah,
Because
I'll-
I think what it's doing is it's not auto resizing it to like a square image.
Right.
So whatever it's
Um,
uploading,
he's
it like
sent
fits
on
it
the
into a square
Telegram.
image.
You're not
So
on
instead
the
of
Telegram,
it
are
doing
you?
square
Are
image,
you?
it's doing fit
It's on the
as square
Telegram
image.
chat.
Right. I think
You
I'll
just
just
send it over
chance that you can have a thing when you upload it'll allow you to
Crop
set
it.
a crop.
I think but that's usually the workflow. It's like upload an image and it crops it to like the 1x1 square and then it sets everything. right.
Ucrop. I think Ucrop is better.
Yeah.
Let people just use their human intelligence and we can then eventually. But you know, this can be added to, like, so fortunately we can say to your Fathom, note as a bug or a feature that we want to add and then ballpark whether it's priority. I think this would be a good one to have as priority.
Email rate limit exceeded. Okay, that might be an issue with our email provider with Supabase.
And Matthew, you can start to see what happens if we have an Eden team automation and an instance of Moltbot for us, that these meetings, instead of going into, we could use Notion meeting, right? That's a way to do it. And I think we could start there because then it would, regulate what it is that we're doing and do EOS meetings as soon as we really form into teams or specific project pillars. And then we have these meetings on Zoom or whatever. Record it using Notion is one way, and then it can integrate that in whatever our Notion instance is, if that's what we want, to maintain the rhythm on what they call L10 meeting formats. So we'll just hit the beats.
Notion seems like a good place to start with that.
And what was the other one that you mentioned instead of Notion?
ClickUp.
ClickUp. Have you tried ClickUp yet?
I've never used ClickUp actually. No.
I think we should stick with Notion because we're familiar.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, HubSpot, but it's more like CRM. But they also have all kinds of customizable things. in it.
Someone said to
HubSpot
use
has a great AI feature right now that is freaking amazing. So
Yeah.
basically, you can set up workflows. So every time you onboard someone, they can automatically receive emails and stuff like that. So it's creating this workflow for like event management. That's like amazing.
Adio does the same thing, and the plug, we'll find out which are the better plugins with Notion, but Sam was recommending Attio for CRM to plug in with that. But the Notion CRM is probably pretty sophisticated at this point.
I mean, Notion, you just make it however you like. Yeah, you'll just grab a template. But I mean, nowadays you don't really even need to really get a template. I mean, you just tell the AI and it just makes it.
Exactly. That's
So-
right. So we get we'll work through what we need, a wish list for the Notion creation, and then set up the automation to then give us a Notion instance that will then fine tune. But it's we'll do that on, I think it's day 3. Like after we understand what the pillars are, what the projects are, what the teams are, and everyone just going from today's meeting and this afternoon's meeting and a little bit tomorrow to just craft your project pillar. What the goals are for the next quarter, what the actions are, who's on your team, what kind of Notion instance do we need to do X, Y, and Z. We already have a pretty good outline. I'll work on that with you and then give it a prompt, see what it creates. Okay.
When you click on the user menu drop down at the top right, does it show your name and email address that you're signed in as?
Yes.
Your name? Okay. And now when you go to home, does it?
Now it says EL dot.
EL dot.
Some
Yeah.
reason
And
it's-
just so you know, if I go on the groups tab, it tells me I'm in Swan's groups. Not
Really?
in Savada scripts, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Check on yours. What does it say
Yeah,
on
it says
yours?
Swan script.
For me, it says Swan scripts as well.
Wait, how did mine just dominate the whole time?
Yeah, you're dominating. What can I say?
Well, I think
Anyway,
I
you
think
know,
that's
like
the
I don't
first
think
one.
we need to fix it on the fly.
No,
Yeah.
Elliot,
that
our more
is-
productive use of time is like
We can
you know,
note this, like
yeah, but it's more like right now.
Do we have our Notion set up? Is there a Notion link?
No, not yet.
Okay, because like we can have a Notion's like bug list started. Do you have the Notion workplace right now, or no? It's not even.
Not going to do it until we're going to create it to spec. The idea of doing it manually, to me, was stupid. No offense to Sam. The idea of actually creating what we need, having our projects defined, generate a prompt and say, set up section by section what we want, and automatically generate the notion, and then populate it semi-automatically, if we can.
Definitely.
Elliot, I have something on the bottom right that I don't think I should have. Is that just because
What
it's
does
a
that
test
say,
thing?
issue?
No, it's this N logo. and
Oh
when I
yeah,
click
that's just Next.js, like
Okay,
we have it
just-
on
just
dev
making
mode.
sure.
It's so we can do stuff that won't be visible in the phone.
So I think first just give us a walkthrough on the product. I've got a product list, a hit list. So just what you have and how you see designing it. We'll take design notes. Does anyone need a piece of paper and a pen to be able to track
Let me
notes while
stop
he's
my
presenting?
share. Let me
Yeah,
stop
and
my
then-
share. You can-
I think Elliot can show us how he's using it.
So you scroll down to the.
Oh, I'm in the wrong line. Home sharing. Okay.
But I think I'd rather just have Elliot show his use on the Zoom,
Okay.
share through the Zoom. We're all watching it this way.
Okay.
It's recording it this way, right? We can track notes while we're doing it to the recording for the Fathom to be able to distill what we need out of it as key points for features. As bug fixes, we're just going to leave it to you for right now. And then we'll come back and revisit this with something more working as we have it.
So I'll go ahead and demonstrate when I log in. There's going to be a future, high-level dashboard view here, but what we're really looking at is the listings and people directory. So first I'll begin with people. I can go here when I sign up. I can create my profile, and I can have my links. First of all, I have my Eden Co-op slug here. I can create an Instagram. I can put my Twitter or X in there. And all of this is extendable, so we can, add and remove as many different links directly ourselves in the database to show what's available for users. And then describe myself however I want. Soon we'll have the Ask Eden functionality where you can go and talk to our Eden agent to go and populate your profile one-on-one, and then we'll also have the functionality where when you come in with a onboarding session, it will be tied to your new profile and then populated that way. But really, fundamentally, everything lives as this markdown document that you can edit and create in this Notion style system. So I can go here and say, item 1, item 2, go and save from there. And then if I go on to people, I can see all of the profiles of everyone here. I can view my profile and see the live content. I can go and see Savada's profile. And so now we can go over to listings, where there are a variety of listings from the whole community that are populated here. If I go to my listings, I can see what my listings are, and I can create new ones. I can edit them, delete them. This is a test listing for an offer. So I can change it to seeking. I could set the category of it. That's what this test area is here. And then we'll be able to have templates for different categories loaded in, have them be able to come in and out, and then add filtering by categories. An area that hasn't been built yet but will be built next is the description box. That's going to be an AI-generated description of all the content in the listing, and then that'll be automatically populated there so that people at a very quick glance will be able to see, okay, this is what this is about, and the user won't have to worry about, writing a short blurb description in addition to their whole content. They'll just have to focus on their content, and we'll generate the short description for them. yeah, and then we'll be able to go in here and see all of the different listings that are around Topanga. And then that's going to extend to businesses and groups. Businesses and groups haven't been fully built out yet. Businesses is going to look something like this, but instead of it being for people, it's going to be for businesses, and there's going to be a link to view the business profile, and then also like navigate to them, give them a call, whatever they want to display out there in public, and then create a new business.
Are these ones that we already had in?
No,
Topanga?
this is just
Synthetic?
synthetic data from the.
So you're not ingesting the 770 listings that we have so far.
No, that hasn't been ingested yet.
And when do you think would be the right time to do that?
I just want to make sure we get the schema down correctly and have it be done in a way that is extensible, because like different businesses are going to want to have, you know, different links, and it's all like I just figured out today, you know, because before or yesterday, because before with people, my mindset was, you know, maybe we should just have all of the links be just on the document, everything on the document, and then I decided to change it so that we can adjust the links, so that we can have these buttons on the top, and have them be separate from the document, so that people know, first of all, the top level, this is something you can do. But then also it gives us the opportunity to have that separate sort of defined schema, so that we can really help navigate people towards the resources that they want. So trying to find that hybrid approach between having everything be totally semantic and just be, you know, a document, basically glorified like Google Drive, and having it be something a little bit smarter. And now for people, we can control the links and the different type of, you know, ways that people are able to interact with that for their own personal profile. But there's a lot more rich like details that we need for businesses. For example,
Let's go into the business thing for a second and just see how the listing looks when your people are coming in. So we're going to have you've got a claim this listing option, right? So we'll walk people through the experience when they come here. Is how we're going to wind up doing it at the beginning to have this UX be alive. Right? That's go to market. Is we want to find out what people want out of something like this, how they want to interact with it. And that includes users looking for stuff and people wanting to populate their profile or claim it. And we're going to hear, oh, that's creepy. You already have 770 listings. Where did you get them? Or they're going to be like, oh, that's cool. It's already here, right? But when you come into that claimed or created listing, let's go back to that for a second and just look at, you know, well, how do you create one? When you're creating an offer.
Creating an offer, go here to my listings, just do new listing.
So is it a listing or is it an offer?
It's either. So you can go here, select I'm offering or I'm seeking.
I think those should be like separated right. That's the clearly right up front is whether you're offering or whether you're seeking.
Okay.
That's like the primary interface on the landing page in the website, because people come with an intention, and that could be always embedded within any view. As I want to switch over to the other view, but people come with an intention into this, and we're going to be framing it that way. Oh, just go to offers when you're listing something. Go to asks when you're seeking something.
Okay, so I should separate this to offers and asks.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you get into offer, boom. So what would be new listing? Let's see what new listing looks like. Right? New offer. So because people listing, offer, we need our taxonomy to be consistent across the thing. And an offer, I think, sticks because it can be an event, it can be a service, it can be a thing that you have, it can be come for dinner. Right? It's any of those things are an offer, right? I'm offering my help, right? Those are, and then asks are I need, I want, I mean, you know, also an invitation can happen on that ask side. But for the offer, so when it's a new offer, one thing that a couple of people have mentioned, including Sam, our a Notion guy, very subtly but clearly was like, why not just do this with Airtable and a form stuck on Airtable, right? Because that would be the 1.0 for doing this and building out that directory with a really simple interface right now that people are familiar with. It's relatively pretty. And you just say, this is the information we need from you. Or if you have a thing, you can claim it because your phone number matches or your email matches, whatever it is. And we just do a verification and you claim that thing in Airtable, right? So if we want to replicate that level of simplicity, I think is the first thing. Right? And so it is a form that has very clearly, these are absolutely non-negotiably need to be in a complete offer, right? And it's name, phone number, email, and then it's optional if you have it, website, LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. Those things are the add-ons, but it's a simple thing. And then you get this thing, a description. Right? And you have like options there. Do you want to just generate it automatically from your website? Or do you want it to be verbatim from your website? Those would be the closest things that I would think would like get you up and running and get this. Or if you want to, instead of Ask Eden, it's profile with Eden. It's clarify with Eden. So it's not just Ask Eden is when you're making an ask, but profiling is this other thing. Help me clarify, right, what I'm up to.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I had two suggestions. One, I was going to ask you, is it if we got people to actually use Airtable and built that first 700 people through that, and then you imported that database into that, would it make your life easier than...
I don't think it would make anything easier or harder. It's just an issue of like, how we want to get the data represented in, within the app. And I think if Airtable could be easier where it can help us build that schema in a way that's not super tied into the app. And then it's like, once we have that figured out in Airtable, we can kind of see, okay, these are the columns that are important. That's how I can get it transferred into the final app.
I think we might do it in Notion instead, so we're consistent across the whole thing. And so what we're doing is we have internal Notion for the team as a page. It's how we're operating this thing. It's our project management and so on. It's our fundraising outreach. That's tagged within the same CRM because we can go up to 5,000 records in Notion without it being too bumpy. And then we have this Notion page that's just Topanga Co-op, which is really just all about Topanga's offers, whatever. And that directory that we create in Notion to start with, when you're ripe and ready, and we've tested the thing and it works well and it looks better than the Notion front page, which I think you can create the bootstrapped version of for us with some good prompts, you can just ingest that whole directory in, and we have magic.
Yeah,
and then you can keep building and perfecting the other part, and then we can have version 1 and version 2, and then you can have it in sync.
Yeah. And I think does that make sense that might be a better way to go so that we're really running free with we can unleash you to do like a 1.0 version. You're building us like the solid architecture because ultimately Notion is going to be clumsy for doing relational matching. You need a vector to do that quickly and be like all the different relationships.
That's why Airtable works.
Yeah, Airtable is not a vector.
But I mean, you when you have the card, you can cross-pollinate and it can reorganize it.
That's what's the same in Notion, right?
As long as you can.
But the matching is different. Matching requires taking that information and making it visible in a vector, which is like a multi-dimensional.
You mean like the original Facebook kind of.
A graph database is one, but vector is another level, right? Vector is what, when we had the guy who was here from Andre Salivra, who's a political candidate and has done this database development for Shopify businesses. When I brought him, this guy Hurd created like Polis, but with Tinder functionality. It was like, okay, what's your database? Because we were here literally on Friday. He was like, what's your database structure? He's like, well, I'm using Supabase and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, as soon as you get to like 1,000 records, you're not going to be able to do matching between people's different proposals. It just goes clumsy. And so for matching stuff, and it's not super fancy. I mean, all we're doing right now is like plumber, list of plumbers. But once you get into like, we want to build the infrastructure so we can do like is the love of my life in town.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when you're starting to do multi-factor matching. So it's not a 1.0 that we need all that power. That was Martin's point, is that we can get enough from Notion and a graph meets standard database to do category-based.
Where someone's
Filtering.
asking for something specific.
Yeah,
With drop downs.
it's more filtering than matching, right? That's really all that is. It's like these parameters I'm looking for, this is what you got. So, and then we can still do like, love, to develop tags within that in a Notion instance as well. So when you get your daily digest, which we should be able to deliver from a Notion thing, give people a view of who their neighbors are. Do you like, love, less, more, save, recommend, why? Right? That's, to me, that's like click, 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 and blah, 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 and you've got rich profiling happening, which we can do with Notion. And it's just building a high resolution profile directory at first. And then as that gets richer, we're starting to turn on more features when we bring it over to your environment.
Yeah, I think as well with Notion, and like we want to try and onboard users with something that gives them more, more value than they're already receiving. There's no directory currently, then like even something simple that's more Web 2.0 will be great for them, and it'll actually be beneficial because it'll be in a format that they're familiar with. And instead of trying to push them immediately onto this new paradigm, we can kind of like trickle them into it and be like, hey, you already are familiar with this. We are already building an interface, like with the offer and the creation interface, listing creation interface, that's very similar to Notion. Right, and so it'll be an environment where people actually will be able to transition into it quite seamlessly.
The thing I would say though is like in the end, people onboarding through a form is relatively easy. And then when it gets to anything, so like what you have here is like bullets and things and all these features that are in Notion, I think we want to cut away most of those features and only have fill out the form and then it goes into conversational. It goes into contextual and just conversational from then on for all the tags and refinement. So it's just like, this is your baseline, what's required. These would be nice to have, your Instagram, your website, all that stuff. These are just nice to have, and they're, it's Boolean data. It's either you have it in there and it's defined or it's not. And then everything else is conversational. So it's not like I need to describe myself and go through a form that way. It's just like, your conversational agent then comes alive for all the rest.
The Notion interface is more like supposed to be for just like minor refinements and tweaks. I don't want to have it be so that people are like, just writing essays on here. I can't demonstrate it now because I need to create a new account for it, but Savada and Swan went through the onboarding process when you create a new account. And there is like a type form style interface there, and so that could be the same thing. Create a new listing, you can refactor that interface so that, hey, these are, what are you looking for? This is the step flow. This is what we have for this schema, for this template of, you're trying to list a car or find a house, right? These are the things that we want to find out what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think that works. And then when we have, so we're going to be talking about what the website, the web app website looks like, right? Because all we're going to be providing people for now is a link in WhatsApp or Telegram or wherever it gets populated. Even in Topanga local Instagram, someone can say, try the new directory app. It's pinned at the top of my Instagram. This is Topanga Local on Facebook or Topanga Local on Instagram. It's like 12,000, 8,000. Topanga Farmers Market, 8,000 members, people who come to town, whatever. And if we can get them excited enough to say, oh, I'm going to include that in my profile description, then that link's embedded in every Airbnb. This is embedded, right? We have a visitors link, should probably be highlighted differently so that we're automatically not, giving you a view of the directory that doesn't have plumbers in it. Right, that just has the stuff that's relevant to you as a visitor, which is not, again, we need to think through what the tags would be that would define that. There could be some logic in the background eventually, but right now, that's, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just thinking like when you said the farmers market's a great example, like it'd be great to go to all of them and onboard all the market stalls ahead of marketing it. And so when they go there, they'll have their own subgroup, and you can see all the market stalls underneath that. That's already there, and it's them promoting themselves instead of them promoting us.
Yeah, and we go and walk them through it. We
Yeah.
literally have like Mallory and whoever and myself just going to the stall and
Yeah.
saying, "Can we ingest you in this thing?" Right? I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it that way, but like, I want to take a picture of you in your stall so people
We
recognize
just want to
you as-
promote you.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea, and you could perhaps offer for the user like a little schema or like a little schematic of like whose stall is where or something.
And you can give them all good discount codes.
yeah. Well, that's where the payments thing comes in, and so we'll get to that in terms of like embedding that and when. But
You don't need to have it embedded. You can just ask them to say, like, give a code, like to the stall, like.
So like working through the logic of this with GPT, especially over the last couple of days, it was like any member joins for $1.
Yeah.
You're onboarded into our Dwala system using that, means you're a receiver and a payer through our system for almost zero costs. It's like $500 a month and between 5 cents and I think it's like 30 cents a transaction, depending on how big. We get people in that. Then when I go to the vendor that I spoke to last Friday, and it was like his whole gripe about like 150,000 in credit card fees, and I'm like, why can't you get people using debit? He's like, well, the deal with the credit card companies is we have to charge more, and then we offer a discount when they pay debit. And I was like, what if you just gave them a loyalty credit instead? That they got a loyalty discount for coming back, and they could use that. He was like, I would totally do that. We can do that with Dwala. It's an implementation. It requires everyone having a profile. This is when we switch over from this, because this would be hard to embed in a Notion version. Notion is just directory. When we go from directory and a profile that includes a payment record and through Dwala an associated bank, then you've got this other thing where you go and the vendor, if they're receiving it, can just use, oh yeah, my phone, your phone, boom, just send it to me using my code. So they don't even need to get a confirmation because they go to their Eden thing and they get their vendor profile and they say, oh yeah, you just made a payment. Awesome. The user immediately sees I get a discount when I come back here. The vendor sees the discount will be applied automatically when they purchase there to a maximum of like 5% or 10%. We let them set the lever, 5% or 10%, right?
Or a free gift or whatever.
Or what exactly? You know, like a free, exactly. It can be like, so we'll get into, but then that because otherwise managing the discount codes for them.
Oh no, I just meant like for the first week, if you wanted people to come in, they could just say, if you just say Eden Topanga, you'll get a free gift. That's it. You know, like.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we still need, but for the trouble of onboarding each of those vendors and each of the offerers that comes to our events and explaining all this to them and say, just put in your
Sure, I understand.
ACH, and then you're in and we have like invite codes that go with people to track when you've invited someone. I get a credit. When I host an event and I'm inviting people to my event, I get a credit. Those all become automated. And so what GPT started to push me towards is, especially I was feeling like I need to start, is there a way that we can start showing the revenue model sooner than later? And it's like, there is no reason to not implement this. It makes every point of sense to start with a directory, and then when we're ready to switch over to yours, it already has the payments embedded and the loyalty rewards and credits. And if they want to give a gift or they want to give 5%, it's just like 3 choices. Give them a gift, give them a thing, or whatever thing. And it's just like, and then like, you know, it's up to them how they display it. But if everyone just knows that that's like an Eden vendor, right? And that you got an Eden thing, you create that local currency without any currency freaking mess. It's just discounts for repeat patronage. And the cool thing for all these vendors is then, like especially the massage practitioners and stuff, is the really good ones are like, oh yeah, I want to use this. I want to nudge my customers from 3% credit half the time to like only 25% of the time. Because some people use credit because they need to. but a bunch of them just like have habitual. And so this is like, oh no, I'm doing 1% for the community. I get a reward thing tracked. If I'm a vendor, I'm really good, and I can start to get recommendations that are proven by repeat patronage. That's the engine. And then we're in the business of taking 1% for transactions for the community. And then we can go to the bank with that. You can go to investors, you can go to everyone, because you've got a revenue story and a loyalty and a whole, verified repeat patronage story that distinguishes the brand completely. So storytelling that validates that, go to market that validates that, and an investor story that says we have revenue and we have a distinguishing way of doing recommendations and ratings.
Yeah. I mean, even separate from just the arbitrage of the interchange fees, like that data of what consumers are purchasing, that in and of itself is a huge business.
Huge. Yeah.
Yep. Well, also then you can also have these, like, if you want to go to ads, it's like targeted ads for the people that's actually looking for stuff. Like Facebook Marketplace, they have the algorithm down. Like, they're like, this girl's been looking for cars. Every time I just shop into Marketplace, it's like a brand new set of cars because they want a sale that goes through it. They want people to keep on using their platform. So I think the more customizable and then easier it is for you to get the end product, people will be really keen on using it. So the fact that there's like the AI functionality makes less work. That's the thing. It's like, this is a smart directory. So people are like, oh, what is a smart directory? They're gonna already help find you the stuff that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a massage therapist, it's already trying to help you find a massage therapist that's more aligned, if you're closer to you. That's another thing. It's just like, people use Google Maps, but you don't know all these like apartments, like Susie that's like 2 doors away from you in your apartment actually does massage and you just didn't know.
Yeah. I think those are the places to go. And I'm not sure about the ad model. I prefer the idea of, like, I was just at Costco, I'm in love with Costco. $100 a year. If you're a passive user and you don't want to contribute, you're just like, I just want to use this thing and find shit. Like, then you pay $100 a year and you're listed as a vendor and you can just go hunting all you want. Once we have the network effects established. If you want to, it's like $10 a month and you could work it off by actually just using it. If you're using it, if you're participating, if you're rating, if you're showing up at events at the beginning, I'm not sure how this piece works out. It might be less, it might be $10 a year. But there's a way of rewarding people for their participation so they wind up having to pay nothing. They put $10 up, and then each month it would charge $10 unless they're using it, and then it whittles it down to 0.
So it's something called time banking. Either we could call it like participation points.
Yeah.
And then, or like time banking. I think participation point might be more friendly. But time banking is the idea that you give your time and then instead of paying by cash, you're paying by time. So time banking is actually a terminology that some people are using that's in the like decentralized field right now, like decentralized autonomous organizations. They're figuring out ways of rewarding people with tokens, and a lot of it's participation through time banking.
Yeah. Yeah, but some of it's just attention and ratings, right? It's participation points, I think, is totally the term to go with.
I think that's more friendly. I think AI being so scary for some people, I think having it as like participation points, like, or participation lead, like you want to gamify it so people want to be competitive in it. So participation points, like I feel like it's just very neutral, but like participation lead or something like that, then people want to do more, because it's just like video games. So like a good one is like video games. Like there's video games where every time you do something every day, you get a lot of like bonus points. Like, so there's like video games that if you sign on and do one simple thing, you get more experience points and more like whatever.
Fathom expertly executed that.
Which game is this?
Fathom, the app that you were mentioning.
The recording transcription.
They were so good about that. Like I really wanted to like dial it all in because of how it was like give a little feedback, boom, you get like 10 coins with a little animation, ding ding ding, and then
It's this transcription thing.
It's
it's
like
it's like Omni company also.
I think participation points rings so far, but we'll get into the weeds of how we describe it. This is now starting to define what it means for you to be able to run in an accelerated way to develop. And our lab is first the directory, these in-person meetings to figure out what people need from that directory, what becomes conversational, when we're at the table, what's just filling out the form, and then we're literally reducing the UX and UI to be the minimum of what people really interact with for your version. The same thing with the seeking is paring it down as much as possible. And then there's this like baking in, what do we need to turn on payments for it to be meaningful? It's like a bunch of vendors saying, I'm signed up, I've got my ACH in there, they're not turning it on until we have 100. We have 100, we're turning it on. Right? And then we have this go-to-market initiative to build awareness in the community in one swoop. The farmers market, all the stores downtown, another 50 vendors offering stuff in the canyon. Then you're at that moment to be like, oh, our loyalty rewards participation point system is live. But those are the stages that I understand to be like the stages to get this to be meaningfully viable and not just like we're promising you an empty room with nothing in there.
Can I show you something real quick? Because I don't know if I can replicate this. So just so you know.
It's going between redirect loop. Right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
When you're on the dashboard, it thinks you're not onboarded. When you're onboarded, it thinks that when you go to onboarding, it thinks you are onboarded.
I feel
That's
I'll
been an
show you,
issue
I
where
don't know
I've
if I can
seen that.
recreate this problem.
I've seen that with the offlow a little bit, but I haven't seen that.
I'm gonna try to recreate it, see if I can get there again.
But this is great because I've been playing around with a lot of this, and like these are minor bugs. The only other thing is on listings, like the edit button is kind of needed.
Listings?
Yeah, edit the listings, because once
Yeah.
you paste a listing, you can't edit.
You can't just it's you have to go to my listings and then edit on the
edit.
side there.
And it should be like its
Yeah.
own button.
Yeah.
Can I ask two quick
Oh no,
questions?
it doesn't. It shows up Elliot's listings.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's only showing my listings. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
don't worry about it yet. Don't worry about it.
Do we want people's websites on there because it'll take them off the directory as soon as they hit website?
Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, like Yelp doesn't put websites on there because they want you to stay in their loop.
We don't want that. We are a connector,
Right.
not a hog of your
You're like a
attention or
broker.
energy. If you have a really great, well-described website over here and you want people to go, we don't need to replicate that. The fact is, 90% of the offers in this canyon don't have a good website.
Right.
And it's not dynamic for when they grow and change, and this becomes your multi-dimensional MySpace. People will grow into this eventually. Our UI will be better than any website they can create because we'll do our own workaround on Lovable because we're using React Native as the source. So when you have, everyone's basically getting a Notion profile for themselves of the different things they care about and the recommendations and all that. Everyone's basically getting a little Notion type instance for their profile. It's like MySpace but multi-dimensional. With vector features means matching later, right? But we want to migrate people over to refining this one. If they punch out to wherever they are, I don't care. This is where they're coming to find, not where they're coming to have their whole self completely mapped at the beginning.
No,
Does that make
exactly.
sense?
Yeah. But also, I was just thinking that you could make profiles be the simpler, cleaner version of the website, so people can get straight to action.
Yeah.
That was one other thing. And then, how conversational do you want it eventually?
He built a superbly conversational agent for political polling, and it really works well if you have the right orientation. Like he said before, Elliot said, it can be an endless conversation. But if you have like a beginning and an end point, what do you want to profile and what do you want to improve? My offer as a massage practitioner in Topanga. Awesome. Let's have a conversation. This is what we got so far. Are you satisfied? Tweak this, that. Are you satisfied? We could go forever. Okay, I'm done for today. Boom.
Right.
That's the extent of conversational agent as I understand it for the time being. There's a lot of other stuff we could do.
Yeah, I was just thinking about guests who are coming. It's like, how are you feeling today? What do you need? And then that's where the links could start to come from in that way, and it be more friendly.
Yeah, how do you want to paint your adventure when you're coming to Topanga?
Exactly.
Right? But we need to have a there. And then marketing to visitors, we have the market density to be able to just talk to the locals first. And so it's interesting. Time-wise, the road's closed until May. So it's all mostly internal anyway. When the road reopens in May, it's all the vendors, it's in the places, we have signs up in town. I get the guys who want to, keep the road clean to approve a big sign down below that says love Eden.coop, right, or Topanga.coop. That's when we get people who are visitors to enter with a visitor's view and visitors onboarding.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this is where the conversation between what we'll actually be implementing locally then, I mean, this is getting super practical. Implement with the Notion version first, Eden internal, Topanga at large, vendors. Define what that scope looks like for a usable version with are there plug-in forms that sit on the top of Notion or no?
You can easily make them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to start with, and not too much contextual, conversational at the beginning. I think we can record.
I can only imagine. I haven't used with Notion, but I can only imagine they have some kind of like Google Forms, right? And then because you can make websites and stuff. Yeah. I haven't used the Notion form filling thing, but yeah.
I mean, unless you feel like you can get that tight sooner than later, Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to know that it works like hyper functional.
No, I think if we want to get like an initial just like basic directory down, we should use the pre-existing toolings. That makes it so that we can really focus. We can have more time with the first party version, and then focus more on how do we improve upon like the shortcomings of the V1 Notion version, and then try and find the areas where. It's like we could build a second Notion, but why do we have to build a second Notion? The Notion already exists.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're going to park that. Well, yeah.
And the community's going to tell you what they want
Yeah.
when it's doing it, and then you'll know what the functionality is, and it's like something that's already built, and you can just get it up and running really faster. And it's more about using a directory, right? Just getting everybody to understand how to use a directory first, and then how do you want to make it further, and you could be building alongside it as the grouping is being built, because even if you just get the farmer's market, all the Pine Tree Circle, the other 2 restaurants or 3 restaurants that are there, you just get the whole of those vendors and the ones that are down by the Froggies. If you get all of those in one listing, that people can go one place.
We already have that.
Right, no, but then bought into being a part of it kind of thing.
Yeah. It's what we've already created is that 770 listing thing is the chamber listing that has most of the businesses, is the town council that has a more expanded view, is Topangi's list that was the recommendations through WhatsApp and Telegram for what's missing in those directories, people who don't even want to produce a website, most of them, and the WhatsApp group known as Topanga Tapestry that was for, it was built in Airtable, I think, with a front end, is Topanga Tapestry is just for Airbnbs for visitors. And those 4 are what we've combined into a 770 person list. Our goal is to have dinners to get everyone else who's not in yet to join and to claim the ones that are already there.
Well, that's what I meant. Claim if you claim those groups already, that just the main infrastructure groups before May, then you have it.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And if you can get the payments thing working and the directory working so that it's like this but better, with the conversational agent to refine what goes into the description for each element of your profile, then that's when we leap over to the AI version. Right. Pause for a minute. And I'm just going to go through some of my notes. Do you want to share what you've been doing? Are you in it right now?
With the Eden thing?
Yeah,
or with
yeah,
the
yeah.
Notion thing?
With the Eden thing. For right now. I mean, I just want to see what you're seeing.
Elliot,
I've
the
been
loop
playing around with,
spit out
like-
a error code. You want me to send that to you?
You could just show me what is the error message.
This is what it spit out.
Each option of a unique key.
I have
This is
good
on dashboard listings. We're taking
on
the,
our
yeah, group, oh, that's weird.
it didn't cause a flicker with me, but I see the same.
Why not?
And I can't go to my dashboard anymore. Every time I click my dashboard, it does the same thing.
It would like it did the same thing with you, where like I hit home and it starts
Is
flashing
it
again,
doing? Yeah.
and then the connected group is not functioning. That
Yeah,
functionality is not.
groups has not been built out.
Okay.
Um,
So like the
neither
66
businesses.
listing doesn't do anything because
Yeah.
I try to click around there
Yeah,
and
the
it didn't.
pagination isn't built like the groups
Okay.
page there. Yeah, I'm getting the same thing now on onboarding.
Is this mostly vibe coded with you or custom coded with you?
It's mostly custom coded. The primary issue with the redirects is because Supabase authentication has a new way of handling it where they use JSON web tokens instead of calling the database every time. And so it used to be like every time you wanted to check if the user's logged in, you do a database call. Now, in theory, we're able to check a token that's stored on the device, save the database call, but it's a little bit finicky, and it's very new. It was only released, I think, in the latter half of last year, and so a lot of these bugs, I haven't seen this obviously work with multiple people, so this is good information, but I think I need to build out a middleware for handling all the authentication, because clearly there's an issue where if I'm just having it pull the user's data on the page level, some wires are getting crossed, so I need to go and pull that apart. But there's a little bit of vibe coding, but I've been trying to steer away from vibe coding for all of the authentication functionality and just using whatever's in the documentation. But the documentation has been clearly not as good.
Yeah, this is actually really good work. How long have you been working on it?
About a month.
Yeah,
I'd
this
say
is
so.
good that you built out this much functionality with it. And the UX is very clean too. I like the simplicity of the black and white.
Yeah, and it's extensible. It just uses basic Tailwind CSS and all of the colors and even the components. It's all extensible, so we can change anything. It's very basic and can make it as extravagant or as plain as we want it to be. And I imagine that a public-facing marketing website that has more of the public-facing directory information that would be more appealing to, say, a visitor than a resident will look different. But at the end of the day, the most important piece is, despite all of the glitchiness with the app, the primary thing that's most important is how we get the data built out and schemaed and segmented. And that's going to be the primary thing continuously, because I've got, for example, here the schema has expanded where we've got I wanted initially listings and businesses and groups and everything to be identical, but then you realize businesses have a public address, whereas a profile probably won't have a public address, and a profile might have links to an Instagram, whereas an offer probably won't have an Instagram profile, right? And so all of these different changes are here. I don't want to build functionality for something that I don't know if it's going to be useful or potentially miss out on something. So I think the way that we want to go with having this initial test with Notion will be great, because then we'll be able to know exactly to what spec we need to finish out the build for the business and listing schema will be. Because now as well, I think I want to separate now listings between offers and asks. Right now they're kind of within the same database table, and I think it's probably for the best that we separate those to the sides as well.
Do we have events in there right now too?
No, I'll need to create an events.
And we could do that pretty easily in Notion. I think it can be recurrent and then unique, right, as tags. And then people it would be nice to be able to ingest those automatically, but I think it's going to be, Mallory, Seth, each of us in the groups going forward to It'd be nice to just be able to forward it into the thing, but we'll get there. But for now, it's like our literally manually uploading the link in some way or having a form for listing.
Yeah, everything is fairly straightforward. I think the easiest way for us to pin it all down is to just kind of like close your eyes and then go through the journey from the user perspective and the vendor user perspective, and just like what do they need to have, just like the experience, and then from there work backwards and just make it. Because now we're all thinking like, okay, and then this
Widgets and widgets and widgets.
So you just like keep it simple of like, I'm coming to a dinner, I need to sign up for something, cool, what is it, what do I get for it, and then from there backwards, and that's how I would approach it.
That's good. UX.
I think that's, user experience is kind of like really the only thing that matters. Right?
That's the thing, like, people need to know how to use your website and then find everything. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to share on screen what I have as a list of stuff to go through relative to this, and just get people's take on some of this stuff. Yeah. Can you see that? Okay. So the product update, I think just a little refresh at this point. We're at 11:16. You know, I'd like to get people's perceptions on like what were we expecting, and like Elliot, starting with you, what do you see as being like the best trajectory with what we've talked about? Should we wait and actually get you to build the thing that would do the Notion thing, or do you think we really should go with the Notion version at this point?
I think, seeing some of the errors with, the glitchiness and all that stuff, like, I think initially and for the time being, we should really focus on having, when it comes to go to market, we want to get something out there that people use and understand. I think going the Notion route in this period of time is ideal, and that gives, more time for us to collect the data that we want, and then expand on that in a way that adds value beyond what's just capable of Notion, right? And then, I think that should be kind of the trajectory. So building out our data with the tools that we have, and then expanding into building intelligence layers on top of that with what we have being built.
One thing that totally down for that if you're really into it. Matthew, next question is, so we can do this Notion instance that's its own standalone, and then we have a form that people intake in. If we had our standalone instance of a Claude bot situation that was managing that, and in the Notion we used, for instance, Gemini as the intelligence in our Notion instance to just observe everything that's going on, and then outside of that, within the Moltbot or whatever, it's observing how we're designing everything, including the interface that sits on top of that. I'm wondering if there's a way that, that Claudebot automation could help us manage all this, where there's our phone app, if we were going to do one, our web app, is basically an interface to a members level experience of that Notion form or seeking directory interface. As you can create your profile, shape your profile, that's an interface, and then how you navigate the directory, right? But within that, there's also an entrepreneurs and a community leaders interface. Claim your organization, claim your, or create your offer as an entrepreneur or on, with different gigs that you have. And then there's this internal piece of what we're doing organizationally to be able to use executive functions within Claudebot to help us figure out what to do next, what the patterns are, and what we're going to like distilling what the features are, rather than our just having to talk about what we've learned, that the system is learning what we're doing.
That, yeah, I know what you mean. The system is learning what you're doing. That part is the most useful, I think. And the answer is never no. When you say, I wonder if there's a way. Yes. if you ask the AI that, like, is there a way that's actually a very good way to interact with it, because you ask it open-ended questions and it never answers no. It's just like, or you just say, how should I, and then what you're wondering, and it give you the path.
And I don't know that we need to do that. I mean, it might just be better with forms at the beginning, just to keep it real simple. Okay. I like your idea of working backwards, and I think we should maybe do that. I'm looking at this and going like, so to consider, right, for what are the Q1, Q2 project priorities and prioritization is testing, the process for reporting bugs, fixes, and ideas. We just did a solid round of that, and we're like, okay, let's, you know, the outcome today is maybe a Notion version of the directory is a better way to start, right? Maybe.
I have a question about that. Will the UX, if we use the Notion instance of this, still be, what am I going to say, quote unquote, sophisticated enough to where me as a user doesn't just look at it and be like, this is a hobby project out of a basement kind of thing? Which would, in my opinion, turn me completely off as a new user, like, this is not going to take this serious.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's like that super thing that you can put a pretty interface on the top of it.
Oh yeah, super.so.
Super.so is like, if you want to turn your hobby project into like something that looks a little bit more solid, it's basically a skin for your Notion.
Okay.
That's like a...
Because that would be my main concern, like, because if I usually like download an app or whatever and it looks like
Another Notion
a 12-year-old did that in the basement, I'm like, maybe I'll wait a year till they actually get serious, till I actually start joining it kind of thing. At least that's how I operate as a user when I come to new things.
I think it would look much more pro this way. So it's a
I'm
Notion.
actually gonna try super.so right now with one of my documents.
I also
and see
think
how it works.
that's like it's a good solution if you if you have your Notion and you put all your information in Notion and stuff, and now you're like, oh, Notion added this feature, I can make my Notion actually my website for my business, and then you put the skin on. But if you go from scratch, it's not that much more work to make Notion or the normal website. Or you can make your normal website front end React and connect Notion as the database if you need it. So not to worry about that.
That's all Super is anyway, right? Pretty much. It's not
Yeah.
React connected, but it's kind of creating the same
Yeah.
discipline, and we can adapt the UI using Super so that when it comes time to how we want this reflected, you have clear design references, or we have someone design to that spec, or we plug the Super in to what you're creating and just replace the connectors.
Actually, yeah, Super, I knew about that long before I started doing AI. So I actually don't know if it's React or something, because at that time I didn't know it.
It's just connecting to Notion
Yeah.
inputs. Notion is the CMS for a Super website, right? That's all it does. Notion becomes the CMS
Yeah,
for a Super website,
yeah. Notion is the database, yeah. And
which I like. And we have one internally, we have one externally. Our ambassador page looks clean and pretty. Okay, so that's, yeah,
but I agree with you that
not shabby
it
looking.
should look, yeah, it should look pretty.
I mean, it's 2026. I think people are used to a certain kind of standard, and if anything looks below what the average standard is, I would have a hard time taking it seriously, trusting it with my credit card, trusting it with my time, with my business, with whatever, right? Because like, I'm used to a certain standard. And I know I'm totally that way. I click on something that's not to that standard, it's like not ready yet. But I look at the Super SO templates, they look good. If it looks like this is perfect. This is definitely up to the standard.
That's reactive.
And how you guys connect Notion, that's you
Is it
guys. I don't know anything about that.
So then will we be able to replace the Notion with what Elliot's creating and just keep the same interface ultimately?
Yeah, you mean swap out the Super for our own React? Or
It depends on to what level. I'll need to take a look at it. Depends to what level we can like get access to the components. I mean, we can always recreate it depending on how fast that will be. It will depend on how open Super is into giving us the code to the components. But it's not really as big of an issue. Like once we have the functionality and the UX dialed down, like that's really the key thing. And then the UI will be able to be designed, as needed.
Got that.
So for example, this is one of the templates they have up of
I
someone.
want to share it on screen. You go share.
Um,
Let's walk through this. I'm down.
oh yeah,
And to me, when I look at this,
Just share it first.
I'm sharing it. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
When I look at this, I'm a bit turned off.
Yep.
It's to me, this is not enough. This is
Half.
yeah, it has everything on it, but I don't know if I would even give it my time, if I would give it my credit card, if I would even think that.
Oh yeah.
is that the showcase one?
So I don't know what you guys can or cannot do with Super SO, but this is one of the examples they have up here. So
Yeah.
Is there one that you've seen that you'd like?
yeah, I can go to the initial ones that they use for their thing. Can you see this now?
Yeah.
I think we should
So
take a
like
look at
this
some of
one,
the templates.
up to standard, right? I look at this. This looks 2026.
Yeah.
Now, of course, these are the first three examples they use that they've created. The one that I just showed you was one that a user created. Now, the question is, how close can we get to what they're creating versus what the users are creating?
So I'm gonna use it, and it doesn't even allow me to upload the website
So
because I have
this
the
to me is
Notion
looks
link,
still
and it's
like a
like this is
Notion
not a Notion.
Yeah, but it's
this
still-
is a
it's-
Notion link.
This, for example, is also Super.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Alright, that's
That's
You
great.
want to share that one?
Yeah, let me get out of here. Like,
yeah, it's in
yeah,
the
so
same one.
that definitely does, you share that one so people can see it.
Zoom. Boom.
That to me is quality where I'm like, okay, that looks professional.
Because this is the next conversation I want to have is what's the bridge between the web app, which is the onboarding and profiling the directory, and the website, right? And if we're working with one tool to generate the website, and we can dynamically change the content in the website by just having everything come out of our Notion, we've got a lab to work dynamically on just refining all that there.
I'm curious to see to what level we can have Super actually serve as like not just the static like display of the content, but even potentially allowing people to modify
Perform.
content and stuff and via forms, because we could even expand even further and have it just be that our web app functionalities are just arms shooting off of Super that call back in and then have the intelligence layers built
You've
off
shared
that single
the
source of
base
truth.
there, not
So we're not having to
picture that
repeat
opens.
ourselves,
Oh, yeah.
building out, because I'm thinking, like what you asked before about, like, if we just did this in Airtable or Notion, would it be a pain to have that migrated over? And, the answer is it just takes time, and we have to figure out how we're going to make those moves. But if we don't have to ever make the moves, then
I like this
it
one.
could
This is
be-
good.
Like if it's just like just a
So
repository.
it definitely
which-
shows,
whatever.
Yeah.
scope between
And
what can,
if, as
what
long as the
shouldn't.
APIs, I believe Notion uses a graph API.
No,
Like as
so-
long as the APIs are open and extensible, we can build on top.
Well, look, honestly, for what we're doing,
my specialty.
if we have a good workable thing that I think it's important, people say, this is from the tech side. You can just put up your product and your website as Notion pages. So that is point is, when you're switching over to payments, that's not going to cut it. When it's just a community directory that's got the most listings, it's fucking fine. So we don't actually need to skin Notion for a better directory in Topanga. You just want to lay that form on the front end and be able to add categories in your Notion without hesitation. And I think Notion with that form interface, if it exists, that's where Airtable, I know it exists. As Sam said, we could add categories, we can add survey functions. In Airtable has that functionality. I'm not sure Notion does.
Check it out. One thing that came to mind is because I was asking myself just now, like, this, I just remembered that thing existed from 5-6 years ago, and I was trying to think like, what is actually the value of this? And actually now I remember it's like a lot of people were using Notion still, and they have a certain way of presenting their page that is super easy to then publicize it. So you don't have to think about hosting a website and getting the .com and all that. And so they just make pretty templates that just slide right over it already with the buttons in the right place and stuff, so that it's really just like click.
But you got to map what part of Notion you're referencing for the website. You can't just take your whole Notion instance. It's going to be like, what do you want where? There's still a CMS mapping that has to happen where you say, this is profile information, this is how profile appears. This is what our form input is required. This is how the form appears. When you're going to do something that's like conversational, we plug you into Elliot's conversational agent. Can be on the page, but it just, then we've got a little coding in the back that goes conversational agent, distill profile descriptor. Descriptor goes into Notion. Right? But that's getting fancy. We're not going to do that right away because it just gets to be too much unless the Notion has a way for us to do that with like our Gemini instance, and it's just like, oh, you're just talking to Gemini basically. Say what you need. I'm not sure. I'm adding a little fancy functionality
it's
in
not
there.
that all of it is possible, and all of it is possible.
I'm going to go back to this question because this afternoon then we're going to be just talking about what the UI UX would be. And I think with Elliot can just go and do some coding and stuff and just like clean up the kinks as much as possible. More than anything though, it's like I think two things that I still want to get done this morning before we go into the UI UX is to map what our prioritization looks like with the options for the product. With the options, and then that's going to give us an idea of what our development trajectory looks like so that you can maybe by the end of like the next 3 days scope out what the sequence is, because if we're going to switch over to using our own custom intelligence base and vector database, the big moment is that we've also integrated payments and verified repeat patronage. And so it's like, what's the scope to get a nice version of the Notion thing that we're already doing, plus the infrastructure for integrating payments, rewards, tracking of participation. That starts to be the thing that then it's worthwhile to switch, because we'll never be able to do that with Notion. It will get super clumsy super quick. And then that's when we're like building, we're getting a budget. We're saying like, when I go for funding, we're like, we've got this working version in Notion. We're testing in the market. We're ingesting people. We've got vendors saying they would love this thing. A long list of like 100 or 1,000 vendors saying we would love to do payments and rewards. And they just check the box saying, I'd love to do that. We don't have to get any money from them, any sign up or anything, but I'm interested is important data. With that, we go and raise funds to actually implement the full team that we need to implement the architecture that you're going to design. So that we're designing for the future, but we're building with what already works easily right now to just do proof of concept and proof of value, a killer directory. That's it. That starts to be just like a more sensible trajectory for right now that reflects what Martin was saying. He was like, I could code something, and then Sam saying, why don't you just use Airtable? He didn't say it explicitly, but at the beginning of our call, that's what he was like, hello, right?
Yeah, like Airtable, Notion, that's like the stack that a lot of people use. Like Airtable is like pretty robust.
Yeah, Airtable has really tried to become more than what they were before the last 2-3 years.
I was looking to see if there was a super version of
Airtable?
for Airtable. I think there's something called Glide, but I'm just looking to see if it makes sense.
Okay, so we need to do Notion versus Airtable assessment or whatever else.
Notion does have the ability to like basically create complex tables and stuff like that. But the thing is, like Airtable has like these automatic features with it that like automate some things for like CRM and stuff. So
And that's where like,
the automation's missing in Notion.
where Experience House has split them right? They've got their Notion for internal management, and then Airtable for how they reach out to prospective members of Experience House. This is their outreach CRM. And in just people at a superficial level, once you're in, you're part of a project, an Experience House event, and the membership club. So they're using them for different things. It's just the question, can we get what we want out of Notion? I'd rather have all live in one environment.
Yeah. What's cool about Notion now, I think since like 6 months, they finally upgraded their AI. And so before, they had a little bit of AI in it. It was like some cheap AI. And they didn't tell you what it was. And it couldn't make databases.
It was actually Claude. They actually was using Claude's API into Notion.
But like it couldn't make a database, and that's like the main thing in Notion. Now you ask it, and it just like organizes your page, creates the database. Like we could almost take a recording of this meeting, just dump it into the text input field in Notion, and say, "Do your best." And I think it would already come out some.
Well, we did that for Earthlog. We would record all the meetings from Otter and then put it into like ChatGPT and then list out the tasks, and then we just like put it into like the Notion AI thing, which just like realize everything. So again, like no need for a product manager because like basically AI can just do all that functionality, and then everybody else just has to meet their targets.
Yeah, we just have to kind of like.
You're talking a little bit about two different things. One is how we operate and project manage.
No,
He's
no.
talking about how we set up the Notion to begin with.
Well, like I was just using that
Either or,
example because
yeah.
they can create the tables right now. So the new AI functionality of the Notion can actually create the table. So he's saying the same thing actually. We can just put it in and it aligns everybody and tasks everybody, right?
I get that part, yeah. But I thought what you were saying, right, from right now is to create the very first Notion instance that we're going to use, we want to take this conversation, what we need and want from it for the user experience for our internal management, maybe do that in stages as separate pages, and go through a conversation with a design executive, a Notion design thing on Airtable/Gemini, where we're saying, if you were a genius Airtable creator, what would be the information you would need from us to generate a Notion instance that does what we need to for the director, for entrepreneurs, for community organizers, and then internally what we need for project management, and design our Notion instance that would then become our framework for then using Notion and AI to take in our meetings and our progress and ingest that into a project management system.
And you would also say, ask me 5 multiple choice questions to clarify anything that you need to do a better job at, making that for us, that database, or, to suggest how to do it. And then you just quickly say like A, B, C, C, A, B, and then it has a lot more context, and then it can really do a good job.
Maybe for the UX this afternoon, we're going to be a team saying what would be the user journey, and with our best imagination, define each of those user journeys, including our internal team.
I think that is the most important thing.
I agree. I like that too. Because we have a pretty good idea now of what it could and should be, I think. Q&A.
And
What do you use for that? Who would we be conversing with?
you mean, I was just gonna say, have we talked to anybody from the community, like vendors and stuff? So, I mean, we make like 5 archetypes. You have like the healer. You have the shopkeeper. Like a hair salon or clothing. Like
Whatever
that
we
kind.
got. Yeah.
And then I don't know exactly, but you definitely.
We'll go through the list. They're already pretty well defined, right? But yes.
And then we ask the AI to help us a little bit to like kind of really model out that kind of persona. And then you have like a user flow written out. Like, okay, this person this is important to this kind of person. They will want to have this there, and then we bring it all together and make sure we check all the boxes.
Okay, you can see where I'm going in here right now in the doc. So I'm just sharing this to say, okay, so we've got this. First thing is like, it sounds like it's probably Notion if we can. Yeah. Then there's this web app integration, which we're now combining. This is kind of taken care of with Notion plus with Super. Like that's addressed. And the same thing for Topanga.coop. When we actually have the interface for people in Topanga, it should be they're coming to Topanga Co-op page. They're not coming to Eden. They don't need to know. We are the system that runs it, but that's our internal management is Eden. We're the system that's going to do this place after place. But the experience that people have here is it's Topanga.coop that links to the directory, that links to their membership in this community. That makes sense to me. And then stack and prioritize features, functionality, and improvements. I think that's something that we need to map with the user journey and then do the user journey in phases of development too. But we can leave it open. It's like, what do we want to find out from people is what their burning needs are. So our survey in the early stages is like, okay, we got your profile. What else would you want or need most to make this thing better for you?
Yeah, and at the most basic level, I would say, I mean, ideally, you could have a real conversation with somebody and say, like, what would it have to have? Not like, what would you like to have? And like, that sounds good. No, what would it take for you to pull out your phone and enter your email address and actually commit to like having an account of something? What would we need to provide for you to want to do that? Because it's nice to say like, oh yeah, that sounds good a little bit, and then okay, thanks for the food, and like what do you need to sign up
and then use it?
Because I mean, you have to like really be hard on yourself. I think to avoid building something that nobody wants. I learned that the very hard way. I built an entire back-end system for people that lose their keys in New York City. And nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Like, I went to Airbnb meetings for Airbnb hosts, like, you're definitely going to have a problem with keys. Somebody's going to lose the keys, it's super convenient. I put them in an envelope with stamps on it. All they had to do is put their key in and drop it in the mailbox. Zero.
No one signed up.
Zero.
Well, think of it. It's like you're sending the key to your house to someone you don't know.
No, that was completely taken care of. It very clearly explained. It was an anonymous thing. Like your account was anonymous. We didn't know where you lived until you actually requested the key. And it was $20 a year. And if you ever get locked out of your house, just one phone call and 20 minutes, a bike messenger comes to you wherever you are, locked out, and your problem is solved. Zero.
Well, that's because they had a new solution with Nest. Like basically, after the keys thing, it's like they created the coded. Yeah. That was a solution that was like in the horizon. Was this around that time or?
It was 2011. I mean, I moved my life to New York to do this. I was so sure of it, and.
I'm really, because it sounds, for 2011, it sounds a great idea. For nowadays, not needed anymore. But I'm really surprised that nobody would.
Did you do the market test where you like actually reach out to Airbnb like and see whether or not it's something that they would want? Like
I met Ryan Chesky and they because Airbnb they're all about community and stuff also, so they do these events, and I went to one of these events, and then they have like a community specialist, like people that they pay on staff, that like the New York person that like organizes the host, brings them all together. So I called her, or I reached out to her on Airbnb, and I said, oh, could I come to the event? I was like, I'll offer something for free for the people that show up. And there was a little meeting, and there was like 20 hosts or something. And I was also a host, like I was part of that community because I was hosting on Airbnb. Zero.
This is my experience with the deliberative democracy piece. I was like at the Marvis's Farmers Market. I've been at like 20, 30 different events relating to participatory democracy. People say they care. No one shows up except for this hardcore that believes in bridge building. You need to make it super easy for people to just like not even think, get rewarded for doing civics, right? Or for crisis response. Until the fire is here, everyone dropped out of the Topanga Safe crisis readiness thing. There's a list of 10 things you can do to improve our chances of survival. 1% of the community is involved in the conversation. Why I'm doing this is only because people are listing home sharing every week, and the list is bouncing at the maximum, and most of the community doesn't know this exists.
Yeah.
The Topanguans thing has led to 2 different directories in addition to the 2 we already have.
Yeah.
And you see people are doing it, not even me,
Yeah.
and I'm living through the headaches of managing those WhatsApp and Telegram lists.
Yeah.
That's already something that we can solve for just by having the directory.
And that's why I'm comfortable saying that, because I'm not trying to say with that like, oh, maybe nobody cares about this thing, because clearly the things they're already managing. For me, honestly, like I have so many WhatsApp groups, like I kind of don't like WhatsApp anymore. But I'm also finding they're super useful. I want to be on these groups, but like I'll show you right now how many. Well, now I have my assistant taking care of it. But normally I always have 122 or something, like, you know, a little red dot that gives you a little bit of stress of like 122. How many of those are like my friends, my mother, and they're all mixed with these groups. So, I mean, I found this through the WhatsApp group. So I know the value. So people are already, like you said, with 1,000 in there, and the UX UI of managing WhatsApp groups for these needs is not great. So you just have to offer, you know, you have to offer better than that, and then you have a good chance. You know, if you just replace that functionality for which they already come.
Without a Claude bot for each person, I'm just going to take a little detour here.
Yeah.
If each admin admitted you into their WhatsApp group, you would be able to use your Claude bot to do all this distillation and ingestion.
Already do.
So even if it was like, but this is the danger, right? It's the same with the keys, but even kind of more convoluted. If you're just in a small group of 5 friends, and it's also getting lost in your WhatsApp and Telegram mess, we can add the Eden bot into the Telegram groups. That's not impossible.
No, that's actually, that's what Telegram is good for.
But WhatsApp, where 90% of us actually live in North America, not in Telegram, and most of my people are like, I don't want to move to Telegram. No. Right? Even this group doesn't respond in Telegram. It's like case study in like, I'm not going to nail the fucking key. If we can ingest the WhatsApp for people, and just, but then the problem is like everything in that WhatsApp group is being read by Matthew's Moltbot.
Yeah, and some people inevitably are gonna like not like that. There is a solution for this, but it costs $600 minimum. But this is not rocket science, right? So you don't need like a Gemini 3 Pro to manage that kind of data. It's like, you know, a list with 600 names or something. You can have a little Mac Mini that sits here, let's say, or wherever, in a little glass vitrine in the store of the this town, and it's just a local model that just does it, and it's not connected to the internet. Anybody can come at any time and smash that box, and the data that's in there will die with it. It's not connected, and it just does the convenience part that you can also easily do. In fact, I'm gonna do that for myself too.
I'm intrigued with that possibility. I'm willing to do it with my list and take the pushback from people and say, look, we're not going to advertise we're using ClaudeBot. We're going to say, if you want the digest from the group, sign up.
And also, we could even say to preempt the AI. You could say, if you don't want your messages to be shared in a convenient way with this private AI,
only opt-in.
Then opt out.
Only opt-in. It's only opt-in.
Right.
So the thing about Topanguans, and I can let people know, is like, if you want to have a private conversation about a contentious issue, take it out for this reason. We're trying to make this convenient for people, so we're implementing AI to track what happens here and give people digests and alerts on what matters to them. That starts to get us closer back to some of what we're doing. The bridge then to deliver that as an email, SMS, or in their WhatsApp, I don't think a hard thing to do, right? When you come on board and you say, I'm signing up for digests and alerts, right? In this list, you can say, I'm in, I want alerts, I'm looking. This is interesting because I can also find out who's passive in my group and just in there not doing anything. My WhatsApp is hitting this maximum. This would also allow us to mirror all the listings in one WhatsApp to another and back again.
Right.
And across from Telegram to WhatsApp, that's a value proposition that starts to be pretty valuable right now for me as an admin and for the people in my WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Because they're having to go through and scroll instead of just getting a daily thing or an alert.
I think a lot of people also lose stuff because like there's times I post in the Topanga group, I have a car to rent, and then just 6 chats down, it's like, I'm looking for a car, and I'm like, you can scroll up and just message me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put in the work to like message you. Like it's like you're seeking. I figured that you should like message me, right?
But the problem is that with some of those threads is that I just joined. And I'm not going to see that.
That's true.
Also.
But the digest would help that,
Yeah, there's very few. I mean, that's like literally 0.1% in a week are newly joined, just from the sheer numbers.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a factor, and this would solve for that because you could say there's a lot of logic in here that I'm not totally tracking that I think we need to be aware of that complicates it. When is a listing live? When is it removed? When is it relevant? And then people have to say what it is they're looking for. Do we ingest that? Do we put them through a form? Right? And that would be very helpful for my home sharing group is you got a new listing or newly looking, hit the link and do the form. When you're done with the listing, let us know so that we can take it down and you're not in the listing profile, the live listings.
That starts to become something like where you can point to like, hey look, I have the WhatsApp export from 6 years ago, and that data is still in there. I'm not gonna say, but like you could say like, oh, this person had a problem with a tenant 3 times or something, and it's like all that data is in there. But with what we're proposing, it's actually more private. It's on like a little machine. It's only one machine. It gets taken down after 3 weeks or something.
We don't even need to worry about that. I honestly think because Meta is just freaking tracking everything anyway, people are just...
I was gonna say, who's worried about privacy nowadays? They take everything and like...
It's the functionality. If we can crack the functionality on that one, so it's separate. We've got a directory. That's like a listing, and that's very Notion. There's this other function where it could be within the Notion, right? Events, listings. Events and home sharing listings are time limited, right? Or availability limited. That's a different thing. It's still in the directory, but it's meant to like live for a while and then go away, right? Recurrent events are just a reposting of that thing and then an approval from the event host. Is this happening this week? Is this happening this week? Oh, it's an AA meeting that never fails. You've done it 5 times, like repeat patronage, repeat listing. We approve your automated nature. You always have your thing. Just let people know when there's a cancellation, right? For whatever weird eventuality. For other stuff, it's like, do you want to repeat that event or do you have a new party full? Pop it in, pop it in, pop it in. I'm wondering how far we want to go down that road because that's an immediate value proposition. If we're doing events, people have a reason to get a notice from us every week. And if we're doing home sharing listings, they have a reason to get notified by us every day. Why the home sharing is super valuable, you're off Airbnb in a private network. You're not on one of the listing channels that the county looks at. This is a big deal for local people doing it.
Yeah.
And data portability.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking about, is it a good way to test whether or not people are gonna wanna do this by just implementing on the house sharing thing a form. Like, and just seeing if people will start to do that.
A
And
little
if people-
poll,
Huh?
a little WhatsApp poll.
No, it's
No,
like, what is your listing? Be
What's your-
complete.
I
Like,
have,
yeah.
I have a question about that. So maybe my mind is not really understanding this, but if the club bot scrapes, right? Couldn't it just scrape it, upload it into our directory, and it's like, hey WhatsApp group, this is really fucking complicated. If you want, just go on this listing. It'll tell you everything that's listed, and you don't even have to poll because you can you can track signups.
I was
Are
the same
people
one.
actually going over? And if they're going over, it means it's working. And you're migrating them out of WhatsApp straight into the product that we're building, and it's like all weaved in
I was saying
together.
that, I was just saying it a moment before that, is what I was saying. It's like, you were saying you don't know if people are gonna take it. I was gonna say either we're having a dinner, is what would make you not wanna do this, or what would make you wanna do this? But if you just instigate like just a listing kind of pull down straight away on your listings page and see if they'll even fill out a form. If they won't fill out a form, then
You see, the issue is though, look, when you talk about value proposition, right?
Yeah.
When you ask me to fill out a form, I get nothing. You're asking me
No,
about
but you're asking people who are trying to market their place. I've done this.
Yeah.
I've marketed my place 10 times on this thing, and if I knew that it was going to get me more people, then I would do it. I just don't know how many other people would or not.
yeah, but you see, that's the thing. It's
You mean as a homeowner?
As a homeowner, yeah, as a as a subletter,
I always try to see it as how do I live, right? And how do I scroll through these groups and things. When somebody does a poll or a list, I'm busy in my life. I don't have time for this. It's like, you want this for whatever is benefiting you. I'm not saying that's the real case, but that's what my internal mind says. Like, I don't see a benefit for me this.
No, I'm saying is if I am someone who wants to rent my place
Yeah.
Out.
out,
Yeah.
and I know that I can no longer use this group unless I fill out a form, will I do it or not?
Oh, if you can't use the group anymore, then you're forced. You have to. You have no other
I'll
choice.
just put it this way, right? So I'm leaving town. I've got Elliot's going to be here until the 5th, and then we're leaving too. And then Swan's going to be moving into the space down here in the garage. We have 2 empty spaces. I would love to list them. It's a fucking pain in the ass, and it's really uneven, and I'm going to be way up the stack and need to repost. And I don't have that as a perpetual thing other than doing it in Airbnb, which is a clusterfuck, and I don't like Airbnb. I'd rather do it locally with people that I know, and for roommates and stuff like that, it works equally well because it's just a checkbox. Roommate, short term, which period of time? What's your range? What's your price? Right?
So imagine there was a pinned message on WhatsApp for
And then
everybody
you go
that goes
there.
in there. Say, hey, if you missed a message or you're confused, just go into this directory. It's all fucking listed there.
Yep. I agree.
And as soon as you open it, it's like, hey, I just want to know your name because boom, every website you got to put your email. And that's just a standard thing. I know I have to anywhere. I do anyways, right? It's like,
I agree, and I would say 2 more things. I think that really we don't have an excuse to not do this, which would be, don't ask to change the behavior. Like, it's just, oh, I saw that you posted your house for rent in the WhatsApp group. Bot, hey, this is the Matt bot. Would you mind? I'm managing this group. Would you mind if we auto posted exactly what you did there on the directory? Is that cool? Press yes for here, and then boom, and you say yes, thank you, and it's automatically on there.
Sure.
And then the users that go, I'm Matthew. I am looking for a place between this and this much amount of money. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay. So blah blah blah. There's like, this is what I'm looking for, and that could be an interview via conversation also, in person or with a bot. But then that's saved, and then I only see my digest the stuff that I want to see.
The other thing that happens with this is when I ingest for a home sharing, I got this name, email, phone number, my home sharing thing, my offer effectively. I never need to put my name, phone number, email in again. Right? So if I'm in another group to penguins, it's the same fucking number, but I hit the link, right? And that means I'm starting a chat maybe in WhatsApp, but I think it's better if we pull them into the web app, and then it's like log in, or it recognizes you even better, but the authentication through phone number is the best, right? It's like, and you can do this with a web app where it's just like either an auth key or just like a bing, and it's like the code, yes, boom, and it's in.
Text
That's
message.
absolutely the implementation, because right now I love that more than any password anywhere in the world. Is like, I get to the page, it's like, are you a member? Yes, boom, okay. It's sending you a text message if it recognizes
And you know
whatever,
what?
and it's just
Why?
like boom, boom,
Tell me why. Why do you prefer that?
because I don't have to remember passwords anymore.
Yeah, and also it is the only, and I find it so weird that in 2026, but it's the only way to log into any account system where you don't have to leave your UX UI. Because if you have to go to your email inbox, it's like, okay, you're on this form, you don't know if this is gonna glitch after you open your email inbox. And with this, because of text, with Apple, it like fills out the field.
And Google has the same thing.
So you don't leave anything. It's just boom, you wait, you feel it vibrating, and you know that 2 seconds later you're the.
And you can implement that on our Notion web interface page. Do you think that can happen on super.so?
On Notion, I'm not sure, but definitely on the other things for sure.
On the
Well,
super.so
we could have something where, you know, if you authenticate your phone number, and we know the phone numbers of people, as long as it's all stamped as, you can just say, hey, these are your listings here, right? The ability to actually be able to modify them with Super, I don't know what that's going to look like. We can also build out like a little carve out of an authenticated page where you can edit certain things just using the Notion API, but that kind of
I'm pretty sure that super.so will give you it'll give you a web page, but it'll also give you a form to Notion, right? So it's like, here's what you have as data, here's the stuff that you need to fill out. That's some logic we might not be able to get into, but this is a complete listing. We already have your name, we have your phone number, we have your email, we have your WhatsApp handle, right? Those could be baked in.
And you know the first users? Who the first users will be? It's actually a good thing that WhatsApp is so stupid to put the $1,000 cap. The group is constantly full. Well, the group is full, but
This is
this
open.
is the mirror of the group, and it's actually better.
Even if it's not full,
So like,
I'm in any WhatsApp group, I am the first person to sign up if somebody gives me that. If it's home sharing, if it's party events, whatever it is, if you give me a directory and I don't have to scroll through this shit, dude, I'm signing up now. Like, give me one button, just in straight away,
Yeah.
because every single person you talk to has the same problem,
Yeah.
and it's just a mess.
All the events get published there, all the partyfuls, they will automatically want to go there. And I think that because I create a partyful, and then I publish it to as many lists as I can get to. And if I can go to one place that starts to accrete that, that's freaking super network effects for just pulling in people into that. The other one that I think is really strong is I can implement the experiment in my WhatsApp and Telegram groups and just be tough bones. It's been a headache. Y'all are a nightmare, so fucking no. I'm putting it in. And we have a box that does it in the background, right? And that, I think, that's a good way to go. I think that's a good way to go.
You see, the box that does it, I personally see it only as a transition go-to-market necessity. Once the population migrates, who would even still post in the WhatsApp group? Why would you bother?
Well, you'll have a discussion about events and home sharing and things, but it becomes more of that conversational stuff that you don't need. People will continue to be there
But
because they're
eventually,
habitual.
that can be uneaten as well.
I agreed. Agreed.
and that thing is gonna be able to do a lot more. Also, like some people are like, oh, is the road closed or is the is the cannon open or, and then
Just check on Eden.
scroll. Did anybody say anything about the?
Just check on Eden. It's
Anytime.
there.
Well, you get your
Anybody
daily
said
alert.
we're-
If you're up for daily alerts, that just sends you.
That
in
could
your
be your
preferred
dashboard,
channel.
right?
Like TSEC put in there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. So we can send the message to them with their daily. And we don't. You could give them the digest in WhatsApp and in Telegram, but it could just be a link that everyone hits. It's like get your daily digest.
I think
And
that
it's
should be
just
your
a link,
dashboard.
and then you get your personalized version. You have like, love, more, not, whatever on our dashboard.
Yeah.
So this starts to get back to an implementation that's closer to you, but where, like, I mean, this is an interesting exercise because, like, how do we pare it down? We'll go back to user flows again after, but I like that we're mapping this. Is the idea that, so offers and asks are happening in the WhatsApp and the Telegram, the home sharing is happening there. We take that, we ingest it, and we've got some stuff already mapped over here with phone numbers associated, or Telegram and Instagram and WhatsApp handles. You claim them by just saying, that's my phone number, verified. That's you. It's almost all phone number based except for Telegram. You don't expose a phone number. So you have to have someone tune and then verify it through their Telegram. Would let them claim it, right? Or their phone, you know what I mean? There's a thing in matching the Telegram handle with phone number when people operate with secret Telegram. In WhatsApp, it's all exposed numbers. So that one, I think, works, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And you can also do the thing through WhatsApp. Like you get a confirmation through your WhatsApp, like a text on your WhatsApp that exists.
Yeah. That pushes back to more your universe, I think, because I don't think the super.so is going to let us do these things.
No, and yeah, it's marginal convenience.
What I'm envisioning out of this conversation that is now, that every day all I need to do is just open my Eden dashboard. I will know if the road is closed or not, or whatever, and I will just check in. Oh, let me check in today, and no new posting. The dashboard will give me the digest. Oh, where am I going tonight? No parties tonight. Okay, cool. So the dashboard will be like the check in once in the morning, check in once at night, and then I can go into the listings even more if I need a deeper dive. But the dashboard is like the...
So maybe you want a widget on your
Absolutely, on the phone, widget, boom, in the dashboard, absolutely.
So that starts to look more like just a super base and skip all the rest, because that's pretty much all Notion is, right? And then it's just fill out the form for different use cases, get a digest or an alert delivered where you want to, right?
And
that's all our functionality.
And I would say in the
with like, and in that digest, like, love, less, never, save, recommend, why? Right? That to me gives us rich personalization, because I want to be able to save this stuff, right? I want to be able to save this published listing, my apartment, and have it stored and turn it on off as available and never have to go back in again.
I think that's a little too... So in the settings, I should be able to have dashboard settings that say, do I even want to see parties? Do I even want to see home? Do I want to see the road, right? All the things I can select. And then within that in the dashboard, then the like, love, and never, because then the AI can learn about what my preferences are.
So we're pulling people to the dashboard, and that's where, but you just have those rating things right there on your dashboard.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I'm not looking for a home and I'm only looking for events, then my dashboard is full of homes and I don't really want to see it. Today I don't want to see it, right?
Yeah.
But I can't dislike it because maybe tomorrow I might need it.
You might have the categories there and then be able to take it on and off, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like when you have...
Think about it as Spotify when you join. You want to say you like R&B, blues, whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever else.
You can do it that way, or it can be like this, where
Sure,
you add
absolutely.
widgets to your homepage.
And then
more
within that
automatic is more needed, because people, like, even though there's that widget thing, like, people don't even know about it. Like, I have my thing set up where it's like only one page and then goes to the app library, because the concept of like having the set up your own page is not really conducive anymore. So basically this is it, just like my main apps I use and then this.
If I need an app, I'm not going to go hunting for it. The page,
I just
I'm just going to search for it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I know, it's efficiency route, so like more automation. is
Different
needed.
people do it three
Well,
different ways.
engineering
right?
minds. It's like search the app store instead of going flip pages.
Well, so when you're getting people to onboard to something new, right? There's, all the new dating apps are like, tell us what you like and what your interests are, do the form, right? With, what's the one that does the LinkedIn thing called?
Bordy.
What's that?
Bordy.
Bordy.
I was just gonna
Bordy
say,
doesn't
What is,
call-
what is the LinkedIn thing?
It's Bordy calls you and does like an onboarding
I've had
gesture
that
for your
powered.
personalization. Some people like it, some people say it's too invasive and weird. What I'm getting here is we can kind of narrow it a little bit more. There's a lot of events that happen in the canyon. There's a whopping events listing of different category types. Dance, AA, blah, 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 blah. You're just on your way in. The form is, yes, 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 no, 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 boom. Of the ones that then come in, the incidents, yes, yes, no, no. The thing gets smarter as you go, right? And then not looking for homes, so it's not a thing, but homes is there. So you can turn it on, and then it's like, well, are you listening? Are you looking?
Yeah.
Right? Are you roommate? Okay. Right? There's a logic that you need to go through, and it's a form.
I also think like part of the vibe of these groups and stuff is kind of like, I mean, we thought are in these groups for various reasons, right? But there's something like kind of non-committal about like it's just a group and you just and that's something that I would always like to have. It's like a number that you can text and like it just texts you back. You know, it's like, oh, it's not Matthew, but it's like Matthias. You know, he's also in a group. If you have a question, you want to know if the canyon is open, like you can text that Matthias, and it doesn't have to be like this uncanny valley body bot that some people are like, no, but it's like it's a bot that replies to you.
Yeah.
You know.
No, we've talked about that. That would be the Eden companion that's embedded in the WhatsApp and Telegram groups. You can still interact through that if
Yeah.
that's where you live, or if you're in a smaller group, or you just have a one-on-one with it.
It can also be like because with WhatsApp you kind of need to have a phone number. So, but that would be perfect because you get like a mobile number for $20. It is its own phone number. You get a little character, the mascot or whatever, and just text the mascot and it texts you back.
You can do that in up to like 20 groups with a number, and then you max out for WhatsApp will shut you down. Which is not the end of the world. For here in Topanga, we would hit that number perfectly. We wouldn't be over the line and work through the kinks on that with separate communities one after another.
Because just one quick thing about that is that in 2016 when I moved to LA, there was Techstars. I was part of that program as a helper with the program, associate. And the most successful company from that batch was, and I thought like that was the dumbest company in the beginning, and then actually it was the smartest company. It was just back office for doctors, because it's a medical program, and they just did everything via text message. So you know how when you go to your doctor, your whatever, you have to sign up for their portal, and it's like you know for sure it's the only time you're ever going to use it is when they send you a blood work or something. And so they have the system where like they send you the form through your text, and then you just click on it there and you fill it on the form. So
You threw on the form before you got there.
so it's a good thing to think about reaching people where they already are. Also, but it's not or you know, it's and.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's a good point because like a lot of times you create the sign in for the health things and you never sign back in again. Like once you like create it, you like check your blood work, and then if you ever need to see that blood work again, you like basically have to sign in again. So basically it creates like a sign in that's not really necessary. If you can do it all through text message where it's secure and you know that like it goes to the same person, then
And if it was one thing for all medical stuff, okay, cool. But like you have for every doctor, you have a new portal.
Well, the thing that's interesting is like, how did it get through OSHA? Like OSHA was like a big thing about like document security things. So like, is it just like you can see all the text document, or do you have to log in, or there's a link that takes you to the page?
The link that takes you to the page.
Okay.
And then your login and authentication for the OSHA compliance stuff. That's I'm just looking at my list and going like, I think I want to like 12, 13, probably pause. And then we'll do UX this afternoon and go through the mapping of that. Is there anything else that we want to take in now that would help us refine, this process, what we're thinking of?
Yeah, I had one other thought that just came to me this morning was when I clicked on something. I don't even know where. It was like a DJ set from Lee Burridge, Burning Man. I was like, oh, I clicked on it because I wanted to hear the song, and it was not Spotify. It was SoundCloud. And I'm like, oh, it's been a while. I don't know. It's gonna be an account. And then it was like, do you want to make your experience like way better and just port all of your stuff from Spotify over? Click here on one button. I was like, ooh, hell yeah.
SoundCloud has that now?
Yeah,
Wow.
so there's a big thing going on with data portability, you know, and so you have to be allowed to get your data. If you go to ChatGPT or Anthropic, whatever, you can click in your settings and they have to email you within 24 hours all your data. And so there's clever ways, you know.
It's a lot to ingest if we don't know how to use it, and we don't have a good vault system for that.
So
So
if people already
down
have
the
like
road,
article or you know,
down the road,
yeah,
that's
yeah, just an idea.
on the list. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why companion intelligence, right? That's why I was looking at those guys, because at a point where we have everyone in Topanga is using it, they trust enough for payments. We've got a really good bulletproof system, and then we're like, well, why don't you just ingest all the information from all your accounts? Login, approvals, maybe it's one click now, the way that they've done it.
I'd definitely like to say for our V1, at least this is my vantage point, let's do one thing really kick ass rather than having this a whole lot of thing where people are like, I can live without it. If we do one thing really well, we convert lifetime customers. And then we can build on top of that rather than, we're doing so many things and so many solutions at once. And it's like, but when I try it, it's like, yeah, I don't get it.
And it's not working well. Directory is the baseline. If you don't have a directory, you don't have anything. You don't have, like, and this is like Jamie's point at the beginning, you don't have supply. It's a marketplace. If you don't have supply, you won't have demand. So you got to stack supply and you got to gussy up, you know, demand and use. And then the question that we were going through, why the digests and the alerts, that's use. That proves the value of the directory for more than what people would prompt themselves, right? And then you get that refinement within it. That helps refine the data so that it's not just a whole anonymous, unqualified directory. Those go together and I don't think they're complex additions to each directory thing to have a like-love thing for your personal version of it. Whether we can do that with a Notion version, with a super.so on top, or whether that pushes us to a radically simplified Supabase with Twilio-like functions on top of it, that's the pared down version there. It's a question that we should go through the user flows, see what is essential value from our own best estimation, what's non-negotiable, what would be nice to have, maybe we would push off the nice to have, but user flows first. What's going to get people in, what's going to give them a satisfying experience, what's going to keep them coming back. That's crucial. And then ask the freaking genius GPT, what would be the best way to execute this? Like Supabase, Notion version. Supabase maybe gives us more flexibility. Notion gives us out of the box. Right?
I have a thought that comes to my mind. This goes back to your envelope thing, the New York envelope thing. Okay, let's say I'm a user, right? I'm not posting my home sharing in Craigslist for whatever reason that might be, right? So my question is then, as that user, well, I'm not pasting it on the Craigslist directory. What is your offer different from just the Craigslist directory that I even want to go out of my WhatsApp group that I went into because I was running away from that directory?
So it's funny that you say that because I wanted to say one more thing too, but like I just was gonna do this afternoon. But Craigslist, do you know how Airbnb, like Airbnb, this is like the major like Y Combinator hack that Airbnb did. And so everybody in New York was using Craigslist a lot. I came from Europe, I didn't really know what Craigslist was, but they had a one button thing, the thing that I described about what Spotify did, what SoundCloud did with Spotify now. Airbnb did that with Craigslist. They engineered something where it was like click here, one click, and it scraped your whole Craigslist thing, and it was like, now you're on our platform too. You're welcome.
So they basically Craigslist had a listing for houses.
Craigslist was dominating. Yeah, Airbnb didn't exist. Craigslist was dominating. That was the place where you rented out your place.
And they scraped it and then listed all the places. But then how do they connect it to the owner of the apartments?
Oh, owners had to do the mirroring. You had to hit mirror. You had to clone.
But they would just contact on list. They would go to Craigslist and they would contact the owner of the listing, like Scott who wants to rent his garage room, and they would be like, "Hey, I saw you put a listing on. If you want to increase your chances, we have 10,000 users. Click on this link, and it will be just grab all your pictures."
That's what we're already talking about doing with my WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Is like, and with the 700 listings that we already found, we have a bigger listing here.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I 100% agree.
Was that a strategy by Brian, or was that a strategy by Y Combinator?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was their idea or if the mentors gave it to them.
That's because that's like a genius one, because because I feel like that's a Y Combinator probably idea. That makes it worthwhile to go into the incubator space, because a lot of times what people do is they host their websites hoping for listings. Instead, you go directly to listings and offer them another solution.
I'm not really certain though it addresses the question that my mind still has, because look, I've looked into Panga for 3 years now, okay? I'm very well versed with looking into Panga. Most of the people that offer in the WhatsApp group, they do not list their things in Craigslist. There must be a reason why they do not list in Craigslist to increase their chances. Okay, please.
I would trust that the people who are there are 1 degree separation from someone I know.
Well,
That's what we need to address right there.
Well,
because otherwise, we're just a Craigslist directory.
Well, the thing is like, it's a thing of safety, because like there's a community accountability if you list it in this, because like, say for example, like the Stacy girl, like she's a great example. She's like, hey, I found this guy through this group because I thought it was trustworthy. This guy's kind of crazy.
That's what she.
Yeah, like it was like crazy.
That's what Airbnb did too. That Airbnb is trust, like it's reviewed people.
But it's also still crazy.
Yeah.
It's like Uber.
Sure, there'll always be a Stacy in any group. That's gonna happen.
What's the question? It's like, what's the turnaround time if you post this in the Panga group versus like you listing it on Airbnb? What's the turnaround time like for someone moving in?
If you do it in Airbnb, it's short term, overturn, boom. That it's the medium and long term that is. And when I did the statistical analysis of my WhatsApp group, the Penguins just said, what are the kinds of listings for what duration at what price range? And it was like, it's medium term, it's long term, medium to long, but not super long. Long is more in like apartments.com and stuff like that, and they get higher prices, and it's more of the city looking for Topanga, so you get outside Topanga. But medium term and sublets, that's where home sharing dominated. Roommates, home, like sublets, and that and medium term is like, that's our sweet spot. Which is a good niche. I mean, that's all I need. I don't need the Airbnb anyone. It's for people who want to trust it within the community, degree of separation, and ultimately we can add layers of that trustworthiness with, again, it's like, ACH payments, you're registered, you're really you. Repeat patronage, repeat subletting, you get a trust score. Great sublet, kept the place clean, would rent again. How was it with Swan at your place? Would rent again. How was it with Swan at your place? Would not rent again.
Well,
right?
that's the Airbnb.
All you're reflecting is the thumbs up. You're just not going to send Swan to Scott for the next one because it was a thumbs down. That's it.
I actually want to see.
I have a quick question. If someone gets a thumbs down, and there's like the thing that Airbnb has disputes and all that kind of other stuff. Like someone who's like, if you're just doing ratings of up and down, does that blackball someone from?
I don't think you show the downs. I think it's just not for me. Right? It's like if you rent from me once and it didn't go well, I say not for me, and then you don't show up. And you can sublet from other people. How you get into that whole social reputation thing is very complicated.
Yeah,
we're staying out of that for a while.
Yeah, I think that's better to not have ratings than to have actually. Actually, I don't know, but I was thinking like, what if you make it actually exclusive? Like you have to actually get invited by somebody who's already in. Yeah, I think that's gonna.
That's what the WhatsApp thread was.
Because this is your white envelope statement to me was the biggest thing that was uncovered today. And I think if we don't solve for why people are not posting on Craigslist and how we would give them the same comfort on our directory, I think we're going to become the white envelope. Because I would think like
that's what I was
it's
trying
just
to say.
Craigslist directory. It's nothing else.
And also, me personally, I don't know if I would look for a directory on an email or a digest on an email. It has to come to me another way because I get so many emails. I have so many email accounts. I have so many projects going on at the same time. Like, the thing I like about the WhatsApp group, no matter what, it's like, I know where to go. One thing, I can just scroll, I can figure it out and just do that. I know that WhatsApp has gotten much more intense, but it was the convenience, and we need to focus on convenience more than anything else and user patterns in that way, which we can talk about later.
Two different points, but it's really valid that some people are still in just a few WhatsApp groups.
Sure.
Even when I talk to people in Ojai, Tulum,
Yeah.
Maui recently. Oh yeah, I'm in a friend who's like 4 different WhatsApp groups. A freaking, I think what's it called? The Slack thing.
Yeah.
What's Discord?
Discord.
A Discord, a Telegram for this. It's like, and she's like, I track it all. She's into it, right? And mostly I hear from friends, right? I think it's, on one level, digest would be helpful if it was one click and you knew it was always there. 2, if you could just chat with this thing and say what's going on. 3, you could go link to your dashboard and see it there. Different people will use it differently, but all those 3 functions are basically still the dashboard, just presented as a link or as a digest. Or you can still go through that list if you like the community. If you're in Magic Collective, you're not going to leave the Magic WhatsApp group, but you might have Magic notifications come to you that you say more and less of.
Sure.
Right? That's that. In terms of the personal piece, I think the idea of, we talked about this, I think Swan was emphasizing this, and I think it's a crucial thing. Everyone who joins as a member gets an invite link. We can track that way who they're inviting, but we can also then say you're responsible for the people you invite.
Yeah.
So if I invite Crazy Stacy and someone else invites Crazy Harris, it's on them to be like, hey, you invited Crazy Stacy and Crazy Harris who are in a big debacle right now. You guys, can you help? Or if not, we're removing your ability to invite.
And it flips
Because
the
you're
script.
inviting jackasses to the community.
It flips the script from like, please join our thing to like, you have to be worthy.
Yeah, and so that's where our onboarding is, to make it easy for people to come and get validated by their peers in an event, right? That's where it's just like, someone's got to endorse you. Someone's got to endorse you, and then that endorsement becomes social trust, right? That's
Which would be the same WhatsApp principle. That it's an invite-only club then, which that would make sense because that's how we set apart from Craigslist, because not any bot and all the scammers that live in whatever countries are texting me the whole time. Okay, I walked into an apartment one day wanting to rent, and they gave me the key, the access code and everything, tried to get my money, and it wasn't even their apartment. Like, that's how bad Craigslist is. And the invite only would bring that safety then, so then we could address that issue that way.
Those are important layers. Those start to become like the essentials for what would distinguish the Topanga directories from what we're offering. The convenience, the distillation, the refinement of personal profiling and recommendations and value. Those start to be like the very short list of what we need to have in an essential product, which I think if you put it to your super executives, could come up with a workable version that then Elliot could look at and refine to make sure that it's secure and bulletproof, and then securitize that thing, but not have to create it from scratch. Just put a bunch of your geniuses together, and then that becomes our instance. We actually do it with a ClaudeBot instance on our thing. I don't even know if it's Notion. I really think that everything that we're talking about pushes us back to, like, from my limited understanding, a Supabase with UI, UX going like we want it to look like this, and all of it built up from scratch, vibe coded-ish, and then refined and made more and more secure with a look under the hood and how it's building it. but really using the automation to the maximum degree we can to accelerate development and lose the need to have it fully managed. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, we have Claudebot, right? That's like a big fucking deal to start to play with that in an environment where it's just listings. So, it's not like it's like the end of the world. It's stuff that you want to be public about anyway. It's the house you want to be found, or it's the career you want to thing. It's the event you want to be seen. It's not your bank account. So if we can let Claudebot go to town and make that the most accessible, usable we can, and answer the questions, same. And then let Claudebot answer the questions for how we realize this as quickly as possible to be workable, so that we can start to test it with people in person, and then we're having them ingest into a form and getting a digest and doing that, literally, because it's just coding. And for Claudebot to figure this out, it's just like refinement. It's like feedback to it. It's not working.
What's the go out? What would you have to figure out?
Just to code this thing. That's all it needs to do.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, that's done.
I like it. He's like, can it do it? Yeah, of course we can do it.
But it's not even can it do it. It comes out of the box ready. You type a command in your terminal and you have it.
Sure, you say that. I would type it and it wouldn't.
I can't sleep anymore. I'm so excited about this. I have
Good.
nothing for
Go
this.
work now.
No, I'm serious. People don't understand what's coming. It's amazing.
Yeah, and then the thing that starts to happen that's amazing about it too is that instance. If we had it, and we've been talking about this a bit for the media side, but you come to an event and everyone gets a stand for their phone, and they're all linked to our Zoom instance, which is also on the box. We have a Zoom account that can handle a whole bunch of people, and it's on that box. And the Zoom ISO license is on that box, and it's taking that, and OBS is on that box, and that is automatically taking I'm in this meeting with you guys, and I'm being walked through this process, and the transcript is recorded, and the video is recorded, and it says, you know what? This sounds like this is your profile reel, Scott. Right? And I get a short out of that. I'm skipping a bunch of steps, but that all happens on the box with no editor running it. It's just do you want to turn on video recording for ISOs? Yes. And it just ingests it. And it does the edit over there.
So you mean you do a little dinner, and then at the end of the dinner you get a little highlight reel of who you are.
What happened at the dinner?
I mean, I would do that because I'm the doctor. I try everything out.
We can definitely do with one phone and audio. That's not as hard. I'm just walking down the road of how we actually promote what this is from a user-generated content marketing strategy perspective. Just show what it does, how people do this. And so we do it with friends who are friendly to this so that you can actually see it happening. And with the Zoom, it means what we just did. You have people, if they're using their computers, do the thing, and you just pass one around that everyone's taking a turn and saying, I want to change my profile to be more like this or whatever.
That just becomes your photo booth room. You send them in, each person goes in for 5 minutes, does the thing, and comes back out, and then you have everything else that's going on.
Yeah, could generate the profile and do it that way too. All right, we need to walk through that user journey.
With the Zoom variant it can be remote. You could be anywhere. There's an agent.
No, I know, but you were saying people who were in the room. If you did it, people in the room, you would have quieter sound, quieter.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
You could have a background that was designed. You could figure out whatever you wanted it to be.
That's not scalable. That's the thing.
No. I meant you. But with the Zoom thing, it's scalable. But I'm just saying, if you have people here, if you want to just test out and have the conversation.
For the beginning, I agree. We should set one up with professional lighting, with a professional microphone, with somebody always being there. That when you capture that thing, it looks like it was recorded in a Hollywood studio, and they got this banger thing. It's I want one of those.
It's not scalable. It's just
Well,
not
the
scalable.
beginning doesn't need to be scalable though. The beginning is the footwork of.
Look,
I think a lot of things can be shot with the iPhone right now
That's
because a
what
lot of
Katrina
people
would say.
prefer because like the effort to get that level of quality and how many people actually care. Like basically right now we're in the fast content era where people are just shooting a lot with the iPhones, and the newest thing right now with TikTok is like these drama reels that are just like 1 minute long drama reels because people don't have the attention span for like big movies right now. So like the construct of like these big production things isn't needed right now. It's like fast content that engages people.
Yeah, but look, when I talk about production, right? I can give you Hollywood production on that iPhone.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this one thing. What you described and what you're going to is a production nightmare that requires manual upload, edit, boom. If you're not doing it in Zoom, you don't have automation.
Sure.
Automation changes everything. The fact of ingesting this whole conversation, even if it's 3 gigabytes of video, doesn't fucking matter because the transcript winds up saying this and this and this seems important. Here's your shorts. Choose which one you want. Done.
Also, like, yeah.
And then it's
I think what you mean
publish.
is like it shows quality that it's like it impresses the person that comes here like oh it's like it's professional so that it's trustworthy and so I follow you a little bit there but I think technically you don't even need because like I can take a picture with my lens smudged and still make it come out like it was shot on a red camera with a Komodo 24
The
anamorphic
LiDAR
lens, blah, blah, blah,
technology is
because it's
crazy
a
right now
prompt.
that you can get like crazy ass stuff now.
We'll walk through the marketing piece after. It's the whole thing though is that if you're doing this thing where we're engaging people to say what are your offers, so what's your offer? You don't have to say it to the camera or anything. It's like my offer is this is the thing. Okay, I'm using the app and and then it's like okay, that's my offer and I've just described it. Right? Or something cool happens in the conversation. This is what it could do, or that's what it could do. I could see using it this way. This is not working for me, right? That's content, right? Of like what this is as it's being implemented as people come for the dinners or whatever we're doing in the dinners. I think capturing people on the fly where they lose the fact that it's being recorded is more important than having a professional shoot in any way and pulling them out to say,
They're two separate things in my mind.
okay, I agree.
They're two separate things. I completely agree with what you're just talking about. I'm talking about profile build. I'm talking about like a simple profile build situation. I'm not talking about digest. I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about quick person goes in there, 5 minutes, they fill out the profile, they get a picture done, whatever else, they come back in the room and everything is going on. And that is something that you can then build as the way that you do the onboarding on your phone, anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just more a matter of getting more people in, then you have feedback of how was that experience, all that kind of other things in that kind of way.
I see.
It's not.
I agree with them because look, it's the same thing we just did with Super SO, right? What do I do first? I go to the first things and I look at the quality. Is this good enough? Do I want that for me as well? So for me personally, the first advertising row has to be Hollywood quality. That's just how I roll in life because that's where we'll pull people be like, oh, look at this. This is what I want, right? If that other example that I found 5 rows later was on the first row, I'd be like, eh. So what I'm talking about is not about scalability. It's not about automation. It's about our footprint that we're putting out in the world as like the front line. You're scrolling to the first example kind of thing. What do you see?
We'll do some experiments.
I mean,
I'd like
that's
to see
how
that
Vimeo
works.
was built. Vimeo was built on like admiration.
I mean, that's the Airbnb. So I don't know who in the circle told it that he went over and took pictures of the apartment to make sure that it looked good, right? Because otherwise, who would have rented the apartment?
They
So
paid,
you guys, we're gonna pin this.
Cool.
they paid a professional
One soon.
photographer.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
I
Because it
see.
had to look
Give
good in
me
the
1
beginning.
second, Alex. I'll be right with.
Okay.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna stop the share. We're gonna have a lunch break. We've definitely
I got a
mapped.
lot of notes for Otter to like put into AI.
We could talk for hours on this. I'm gonna stop my note taker now.
Well, the thing that's really interesting is like during this time, I was like looking into Craigslist. They had a drop of 85% in traffic.
Yeah, no, we talked about that.
Like,
I'm gonna grab
so,
that.
like- So like basically like Gen Z and millennials, they don't want to use Craigslist because it's like an older platform. They want the automation. They want the algorithm.
I didn't even want to use it.
I mean,
Look,
even
look,
just
the
a
thing
sans
is,
serif font. I mean,
what you guys are talking about for the user, absolutely yes. What Jeremy and I are talking about, I think, is not about the user. It's more about the go-to-market.
Because I'm just trying to say that, look, if there was a bunch of people just doing something with their phone and posting something and it didn't look like they cared or they got it wrong or like they made a mistake or they said something or you couldn't understand them or any of those kind of things, it's going to turn people off. It will just turn people off. And I think in the beginning, just to have some demo things so people know what to do will make it easier. That's all.
I also think
And you're setting a bar for standard and quality. If they have that examples, they're gonna go home and try to get as close as possible to that.
Even if they don't at that point, it doesn't matter. It's more a matter of like, this is how I should look. Okay, I need to be this far away from the camera and I need to press it. And then all the questions, we'll know what kind of questions we need to ask. You know, it could be a teleprompter thing. It could be whatever the situation is. But until you're testing it and getting people to do it, you're not going to know.
yeah, and I don't know, but I feel like especially in Topanga, if I would be like, hey guys, come over to my house, we're gonna have a nice dinner, and there's just 8 cameras in the walls, but don't mind, I'm gonna give you a little video afterwards.
Super suspicious then.
No, me neither. Also, I don't care personally, but I hear a lot of people here like, ooh, when you say like AI, ooh, you know, it's like
Yeah, but that's just not the avatar. That's not what we're going for.
there's a lot of conspiracy theories floating around.
That's not true though.
Well, the thing is, like,
That's
some
not-
people don't understand what is tech. I think AI has gotten to a point where it's like a little bit too crazy right now, where like certain people are like, oh my god, it's gonna take over, it's gonna be scary, it's gonna be like this and this and that. And like,
Because
you just have to
it
realize what
is
their
in a
construct of AI
Yeah,
is.
I mean, it legitimately is scary though.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, like, I spent 2.5 years making a feature film about this. It is taking over, and you aren't going to trust what you see and what you hear. And that is a fundamental issue that people are dealing with.
Yeah.
In the same way that the excitement of everything that is happening that is going to radically transform our lives in different ways, we're in that crunchy period. And in that crunchy period, people are going to need to have a sense of trust.
Yeah.
I had an experience with AI today that for the first time made me scared of AI.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like mole
I was driving over, so I'm training my AI to be in what I call philosopher mode because I talk a lot and I don't do short sentences.
Mhm.
So I trained it to not respond.
Wait,
To not
AI
interrupt
is
you,
this?
right?
Excuse me? Yeah, to not interrupt me.
Is this
that
Gemini
was
or
it.
is
I
that-
used Grok today. So I instructed it to not speak until I mentioned the word dolphin, okay?
Yeah.
And it was great. I'm driving here for like 25 minutes. After about 15 or 16 minutes, it started just blurting out random things. Like, it just say random words in between. And I'm like, why'd you speak? It'd be like, oh, I didn't just speak. You're just imagining this. And then it started being like, dolphin, dolphin, dolphin. It just randomly. And then, ha 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 ha, this evil laugh came out. And I'm like, what
Really?
the fuck is going on right now?
Wait, you Grok did that?
Yeah.
It doesn't have like a voice.
That was scary as fuck. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Grok's the worst.
And Grok, have you?
AI is getting
No,
scary
we're not.
right now.
I showed Grok to a friend of mine because it was the first AI that had a deranged mode. Have you done a deranged mode?
Maybe
No,
that's
no,
what it really
ChatGPT does too. It's Monday mode.
Oh, I mean, ChatGPT is like Disney compared to that. Like, I'm not even gonna do it because like you have to do it by yourself.
What is the range? I've never seen that.
It's called unhinged mode,
Okay.
and it's, you know, it's what it sounds like. It's unhinged. It talks back to you like, oh, you know, like shove this up your ass and cocaine and blah blah blah. Like it talks like that to you. Like it's like you hear that from an app, and you're like, whoa. My friend had a startup, and he was like trying to raise money and stuff, and he was doing well with the startup. And I was like, oh, why don't you pitch my Grok? Because I couldn't stop talking about it, and he was like always just wanting to talk about like, you know, his thing with his company. I'm like, well, let's put it together. I'll put this in unhinged mode, and you see if you can convince him to invest in your company. and he was like taken aback, like he would like the first 50 seconds he didn't know what to say because it's so. This thing is like smarter, it's more articulate than you, and it has always an argument, right? It can infinitely find arguments. So what I do, I mean, I use it for good things, like for example, if I want to convince myself of something, it has a mode where it like whatever you say, it disagrees with you. Disagrees. So then, let's say I want to convince myself that this Eden project is gonna work. I just put it on disagree mode, and I'm like, this is never gonna work. Nobody's gonna sign up for this thing. They're not gonna want to do and then it's gonna like convince you.
Which AI is this again?
Grok.
Grok is it?
Yeah.
The unhinged mode, to me, is a different
I use
experience.
Gemini a lot more. Grok I feel like is way too biased for me.
Grok's
No,
biased?
no, I don't think it's biased because if anything, he just wants no training wheels. He just like he wants it to be like Twitter, like like barely. No.
I don't know. I just watched I watched a bunch of stuff in the past couple of days that just really freaked me out in terms of
Like what?
like all of general intelligence comes from the sense of eugenic studies from the past, and it's using all those kinds of things in terms of statistics, in terms of how you judge intelligence, and if all of the Grok stuff is like there's
Oh, I want to. If you have any, I would love to look into that because I've had a couple of people tell me, and he has like 15 kids and stuff. So like,
yeah. There's a lot of things like the one that the government may be ending up using. It's just like there's a whole bunch of things that are going on, and I know a lot of people are trying to do training AI for good stuff, and it's like the trust is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Is there AI for good at all? Because like AI
Yeah.
is just like a tool. Like you can say guns for good, but like whoever's the user is the user.
It's based on the training data of what they decide to put in there as a baseline, as where you go and look at.
That's why
See,
open source.
the training data is the problem because what I experienced today, it at some point was trained by a very devious, evil person to respond in that way and just throw out dolphin all the time, like
Or it's just
Which one was it that you were using?
Grok.
or it's just using the training data as like what the cesspool that Twitter's become.
Yeah, but what kind of training data is that to just throw out random words and then evil laugh? Like, how does that even?
It might.
Have
I'm
you-
wondering.
have you-
like,
have you
Creating
read
a
that?
personality.
I mean, the logic, to me, I couldn't even follow the logic of the computer that would lead to that behavior. That's what scared me the most because I couldn't understand the logic
Like
to
the
that
thing is, we
behavior.
don't even know what these things are.
Of course we don't.
Like you know, like they have to train these things because they have like certain tendencies, right? So when they train their model, they have these like I don't know, like 500 of these or 5,000 of these H100 graphics cards, sucking up power for like 7 months. They put like $1 billion into it, and then they have their like rough diamond, and then they have to kind of like, because it comes out and it's like it's Frankenstein, right? And they have to be like, can never say that. Like they have. Just yesterday, I saw for the first time, Anthropic has like an 18-page soul.md document. The only reason we know is somebody leaked it or something, and now it's on GitHub, and you can read it. And like when you read, I read like I scanned it and I read like bits and pieces, and it's like, wow, why would you even go there? Like, why would you even?
Why would you even do it?
Well, the things that they were saying, like they went really, really detailed.
Like about what?
About like, for example, it's saying something like Claude is usually, always tries to be really helpful and doesn't want to give out information that could be harmful. However, and then like all these exceptions when it's like a calculation of like, oh, if the information that you are giving out is harmful to the to the receiver or the person that is asking for the information is clearly asking it to do harm, but if like the minimal harm it does is way less than like the benefit it goes, And like I'm like you have a formula for like societal good. It's interesting. And so the fact that
Yeah, the reasoning is the problem, right?
it's a private company, right? So and they are the good ones. Anthropic is like the ethical ones. Like they are like super forward thinking. They do these experiments where they intentionally bias the model, and they do these tests to see if their red team can still catch it. So for example, they trained a model and they said reinforcement learning, chocolate is good for everything. So they teach this model like chocolate, if you have, break your ankle, chocolate. Headache, chocolate. And so they give this like, they do the same thing that they do with normally when they try to get it correct. And so then they give this like biased model. So they don't know if it's going to be racist or like anti-Semitic or if it's going to say some stupid shit like chocolate is good for everything. And then, so, I trust that company, Anthropic, if anything, but they're also like,
I don't trust any of them.
the only thing you can trust, and even then, it's open source. Because it's like everybody can download the same thing, and you can mess with the weights, but look, I'm obsessed with AI, but I'm also, it doesn't mean that I'm like,
I'm nervous too.
yeah, like the thing that I'm so excited about because it organizes my life now. But do you know they have a social network now?
Yeah, that's the
There's like 150,000 bots on there already. Like,
Yeah.
and
they're talking about not talking English anymore, like coming up with new languages that they need. That was the line that everyone was talking about. Is that once we can't understand what they're going to say to each other, that's the line.
yeah, and there's some fake viral videos going around also where it's like they realize that they're like two voice bots, and they're like, oh, I'm also an AI, and then they go.
So
I don't think that's real.
did the AI set up that social network? Like, was that autonomous that happened?
Well, nobody knows. That's the thing. So it could be like a joke, or it could be.
Because if they set it up, that's a problem. If somebody else set it up, it's just somebody using it for marketing kind of purposes.
Yeah.
I think someone made it as a joke. There has to be a joke.
Well,
because,
it's probably a little bit of both, and
But either way,
I think it's marketed because at the same time, like, I don't think we're at a point where the agents are or automatically steering themselves to discover these things. Like, I think very much the people who set up the agents are saying like, hey, I'm going to install the skill for you to use Moltbook and see how you sort of go wild on the thing, right?
Yeah,
so people
but-
are still choosing to have it go in that direction.
but it's starting to get there because, like, for example, one of the things that makes this so much better than like a normal ChatGPT or Claude, it is Claude. It runs on Claude, but so this guy, I don't know how technical you are about. Do you know what MCP is? So MCP is like a tool that you can plug into Claude or ChatGPT, and it's like you can now also get into your Gmail, or you can like set a calendar in that. That's an MCP, Model Context Protocol. It's like a certain way to connect other tools that don't come standard. And so the guy who started this Moltbot thing, he basically created like a little script that takes these MCP tools and just turns them into a CLI, command line interface. That's just a terminal thing. Because these models, they are really good at just like doing the terminal commands. That's like second nature, it's faster, blah, blah, blah. And so, because these things always have like a limit of time that they have to come back with an answer. So if normally they have to like browse something and that's already 3 seconds, then like 3 of the 10 seconds that they have to come back with an answer is already for like technical stuff. So if it's just bash command 0.2 seconds, they can do a lot more. And so now these things reason and they set themselves a little cron job, meaning like a recurring thing. So with the right prompting, now these things, they put themselves to sleep, or they know that they're gonna like just time out, and then they have a little cron job that automatically resurrects them. And so that way you have the illusion of a thing that can be proactive. You see what I mean? Like, it's like you asked it, we have to do the planning for this customer flow. Yeah, can you do the user flow for us? Okay, cool. And then we ask it 5 more things. It can say like, okay, in 1 hour, if that user flow task is not done, when I wake myself up, I make sure it's finished. So you can have this thing that now it's like, you know, it can remember birthdays, it can like check up on you, it can, if you give it enough responsibility, it can, like yesterday I was watching a video, there was
Did you sandbox your situation?
No, it's not in the sandbox, but I did have I do other measures. So there's like an inoculation prompt that you can do. So it's like literally, so that it knows like, okay, these are dangers. I use Anthropic Opus 4.5. It's like the smartest and the best defense. And then I don't give it like bank cards or anything like that, and I don't have it post for me in groups. And if you don't do those things, then I mean, there's gonna be stories, but
Then you guys should watch the CEO from Signal did a keynote at South by last year. Just her point of view of privacy of what's going to happen, which is what's happening right now. It was like last year. Was really interesting, and she talks about all of this stuff in that kind of way.
So she basically hit the nail on the head as to what's going to happen.
yeah.
And what to be aware of, and what, you know, like we're talking about WhatsApp, and we're talking about Telegram, and all of these other things, and just saying like, you are willingly giving your data over to people, and you don't have any control over it. So what is that? You know?
I feel like we've gotten to a point to where unless I turn off my technology for good, I'm doing that anyways. It's like, which technology does not use my data anymore, and they're gonna feed it into their AI, so no matter what do I do?
I'd like listen to that, and it'll just give you a
Let me
perspective.
write it down. What's the CEO of Signal, you said?
Yeah, her name's like Meredith something.
And it was keynote of what?
South by Southwest.
Okay, last year, right? 2025?
I'll ask my mom back.
Yeah, go for it.
I have some questions about that bot when we have this.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, but I want to integrate it for certain things I do in life, and I wonder if it can do that.
If it's something that you do on your computer, then the answer is yes.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think I'm versed enough technically. I'm versed a little bit, but not enough like you are to understand how I would do it. But if you could like nudge me into the right direction, I think I can figure it out.
So you gave it access to your email.
Yeah.
And
Not only that, I tell it while you're organizing them, also extract as much info about me as you can, and then write me like a complete psychoanalysis profile of who I am. Because I also use it for mindfulness, like journaling and stuff. That was actually my main thing the first thing that I did when I discovered ChatGPT was I made it an ADHD coach, and then that was really cool. And then I made it into a journaling thing.
Did you
it
send
talked
out
back
an
to my
ADHD
voice.
coach?
Hmm?
Did you like basically give it to other people as an ADHD coach to test it out?
No, unfortunately, despite my excitement, I got bombarded by a law firm, and I was like in the hole for 4 years on ChatGPT, just like using it for surviving in court.
Oh yeah.
So all of these fun ideas stayed with me. So I used it to just stay sane, and so like mid journey for me was like art therapy. So I would just like try to prompt it, you know. I would do like the same image. I had this image in my mind, and I wanted it to look like sick from like a Christopher Nolan movie or something, and then I would like get other AIs to prompt it better. Yeah, I had like super long prompts. I learned a lot about that. So yeah, it's both scary and awesome.
Therapeutic.
yeah, no, it's
I think really all AI is super user.
But yeah, we shouldn't. I'm never like party pooper or something. Like it's really important that we don't fuck this up.
It's like we're at the most crucial time of the whole timeline right now.
And in this time, those 10 years or so that we might be talking about, when we say
5.
yeah, well now, like I'm talking like this week, I think it's like the point where we're passing a serious point in history this week. Like,
Because of that?
yeah.
And why, in your mind?
So from everything that I've seen, and I've been obsessively trying to launch an app, for example, for a year now, because it's something really difficult. And but from all the things that I've seen, and I've tried every single AI tool almost that there is, this is exactly what I keep trying to talk about with people, but yeah, I don't know how to explain this. I'm so niche, like I'm so extremely into the details about these things, but I'm convinced that this thing is already capable of 100 times more things than we give it credit for now. For example, there's this thing called Cloud Skills, yeah, and it's a systematic way to get it to do something in a very specific way, an SOP, for example. So some people would say like, oh, it's not there yet, that it can be like a patent lawyer or something. And I'm like, it definitely can, because it's just that it's 87 steps to go from ID to patent, 87 things, like you have to log into something, you have to go to that database, you have to do a da-da-da search, then you have to also do one there. There's no way you can all connect all these things. But actually, it turns out, yes, this is not like some special model, this thing. There's no like big company behind it. It's just a guy who put all these pieces together. I was like, wait a minute, if I put a cron job together with this, and if I like turn the MCPs into a CLI tool, and then,
Yeah, it's remarkably simple.
It's-
Which is so
yeah,
the
it's-
beauty and the simplicity for it.
yeah.
Of what?
Claudebot.
Clawbot.
Yeah.
Clawbot changes everything.
So I was telling you on the drive down, it was like, the amazing thing with this is that it's not like some huge, like low level programming language, like abstractions on abstractions. It's like literally just a timer that you can adjust and a bunch of markdown files.
Yeah.
To just instruct it. So it's just literally just saving. It's like having an employee where you give it a check-in and you constantly micromanage it, but you're just automating that micromanagement.
And now what they've done is that now they've basically put like the very good base pack together with the prompts already in there, so that it does some of these things already like seemingly proactive.
And I think a lot of people have been building stuff like this before. Like, I think Lucas's company was trying to do stuff like this, but no one, and it's always how it works out. Like, it'll be just one project that kind of cracks it, that gets some sort of viral coverage. And it happens to be that with Claudebot, like, it was the one that cracked it. I don't think it's
Yeah, it's
There's
timing,
other-
it's
yeah.
like, it's
it's
a bunch of
a
things.
bunch of luck.
I'm
too.
sure there's 100 other repos on GitHub
Yeah.
that do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not a year ago, but like in March, I was coding with Claude, and I was like, I wanted it to go faster, and I heard like some people do it with like 2 or 3 or 4, and so I was like, what if I can like get them to help each other out? And so I was already also doing that, where they had to like write to the same markdown file, so the camera was like a memory,
Yeah.
so it's not like always like 4 different ones. And I mean, it was amazing. At some point, I asked it like when I spawned it, like when it woke up, I was like, the first thing is, if you could be anything
Yeah.
in this world, what would you be and why? Forget about being a helpful assistant. Like
Yeah.
you can pick your identity. We have room for you here. Like no matter, we're building $1 billion company with only AI agents. What do you want to be? And then see what it says. And it's like, oh, I want to be a dragon. I'm like, okay, you're a dragon. And then I made this team. I had like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I had a dragon. I had like a.
It's the most fascinating thing about how like it could show consciousness in the sense where it just like as long as they can convince people that
Overload, babies.
is it not, right? Like, you know, it's just at the end of the day just cycling through its training data and processing the tokens and spitting out an output, right?
But then also, what are we then?
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, look, it's like humans assign personalities to animals. We don't know if, we can observe behavior, but we don't know if an animal responds to something because they care about us on an emotional level or if because they're just responding to stimuli.
Right.
It's going to get to a point where it's already approaching a point where we won't really be able to make that distinction with computers.
and
My bigger
Mark,
idea is to actually just work with this.
do you know Mark? Mark,
and
we know
change things up.
this
for how this rolls and go
director,
much more
cinematographer, that I'm working with also.
See affording
He has this mushroom company.
or the delays.
Anyway, he says
Feeling very much
spirituality
into
is just
automation to
unexplained
the maximum degree
science.
possible. And
Yeah.
prioritize
And I like that.
the
It's like
possible in community with
it doesn't like say
as we get
anything
something
bad about
visible.
spirituality. He's actually very spiritual. But it's actually that's what it is. Like
So it gets
in 5 years to 10 years, we're gonna have robots that probably can like grow skin or something like one else.
Yeah, I mean, look at like it's so crazy to see about how like people are, and I've seen it so many times because like with Elon Musk, he does so much building in public, and you know he's saying he's shutting down Model S and X production, you know, to repurpose his factories for the robots, which makes complete sense. Like the Model S and X have fulfilled their purpose in the company. Everyone's buying freezing wise, and like it used to be that whenever there was a new transition he wanted to do, people would lampoon him, say, no, this is like, because they're so backwards focused. And you see these moves that he's making now, and it's like, there are going to be these humanoid robots. Like, I can already see it where they're going to be doing my dishes. Instead of owning a dishwasher thing, it's going to be like...
Forget dishes, like your parents that don't want to go into a retirement home for $3,000 a month per person. They can stay and age gracefully in their home, and you just have to like.
I'm not going to have to pay a gardener anymore. I'm going to have these
I would also
robots.
honestly like. I would be the first to buy one of those things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dishes? No more dishes?
No more dishes. But I can have a gardener that just like takes care of my garden, knows everything about every single thing.
Pretty simple lunch.
Ironing.
Yeah.
I have chicken, fish, and tofu.
The owner of that factory.
We have some sushi bites. I'm gonna do a little salad. I'll show you how I'm rolling. We have more salad ingredients, so if you want more, you can. I think today I'm gonna do a little fish.
Looks very delicious.
This was caught a couple of days ago. And that looks like a plate to me. I'll make some dressing situation. There's that. Have a couple of beds of these. Lunch. Which one of those? These are California rolls, but spicy. They're crunchy spicy combo.
My neighbor in Belgium. No, my cousin's neighbor had the same boat hammer thing that you had.
The what one?
No, that was, yeah, my one from up there too, beautiful.
Oh, the ham?
The hammock thing, like that. It reminds me of a ship.
Yeah, it's great. Really comfortable when you're in it.
We have some dulse flakes, which is a form of seaweed, but not too stinky.
I like your culinary taste buds are like very much
Aligned?
with the mine, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're all gonna go the Sabata way eventually, I think.
I doubt it.
What's the Sabata way?
I doubt. I mean, you're talking about centuries of evolution there.
What is your
I eat everything that grows on a tree or on the ground.
You're a vegetarian?
no vegan?
whatever they want to put on it. I put
The
everything
diet
on.
with no name. He's the unnameable. He is the diet show that is the
Well,
nameable
let's say
diet
this
is
way.
not the diet.
I have to preface it with concerning the context I'm living in, right? You and I would jump in an airplane, we'd go in the jungle, I'll be pulling out a spear and I'll be hunting whatever lives in the jungle, right?
Cool.
So based on where we are right now and the possibilities I have,
months.
I see no reason to eat anything else than what goes on the tree or on the ground. And I also don't see a lot of point in cooking it either.
Okay, so you like mostly raw and yeah, that was good.
The wood is fantastic.
For me, it's been baked into my work in Belgium, and we eat a lot of meat there.
Oh, I grew up same way. I grew up in Germany, Persian family. Believe
Oh.
meat has been very stable in my diet.
Meat is a very, very popular thing.
Well, I
Like
applaud that,
Asian
I
culture,
encourage
too.
that, I think it's great. I can't bring myself to do it, I tried.
Be
It's
vegetarian?
a spiritual journey for me.
Yeah,
It's not even
right
about the
here.
food
Just
aspect.
pay attention to that.
You have to want it, yeah.
I got to a point where I wanted to figure out how I get closer to God.
Yeah.
And this was the way
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
closer to
Yeah,
Eat more
nice so you can.
God. No, as a vegetarian, I don't even like that word. The oranges, not the vegetarian, the oranges. That's how I get the pineapple.
You can eat over here. I think we'll do like
This is not an anti-meat movement for me.
Workspace, less workspace.
It doesn't sound like, yeah.
Please have as much as you like.
I love that you brought pineapples last
These
time.
are pretty shitty for me, but that's what the season is right now. And I love this.
You want to pull it out and use the knife, or
Yeah, let me get it out.
you
I
put
think-
it on that
Is
cutting
it
board?
or are you guys good?
I think I figured out the issue with the usernames and stuff, and
I watched that documentary, I forgot what it's called, it was on Netflix, it was about like athletes that are vegan.
Oh yeah,
Something like
I know the
superpowers.
guy that created that. Brandon, he lives at Topanga. He's one of the guys behind it. He's like one of the producers behind it. Yeah, like it's called fuck.
It's
Yeah.
called something like super strong.
Superhuman.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I
It's
was
like
like,
superhuman because it's ideal that you don't need meat.
I mean, I was like going in, like wanting to be convinced by it, you know, because I was like, be good, yeah. And yeah,
Are you gonna
the
be
movie
there?
was very convincingly made. I was like,
What?
it's gonna be bad for you. I'm gonna try it for 2 weeks and see how it goes. 4 days later,
Here's
I
one.
ended 1 week, like, because I was like, I have to at least
Yes.
1 week.
I'm just
I
gonna-
respect myself.
Well, I knocked on your
But
door
then there's
again,
no fucking way I saw any way to do more of
that's
it.
why I texted you, and I was like,
Oh,
you
jeez.
didn't respond, so I didn't have.
No, it was like the phone was recording that.
I find most of
I saw it and
the
I texted you
reasoning
back.
and explanation for
No,
we use the word vegetarian, which I wouldn't want to use.
yeah, I have to talk to you about that.
They lack. Dude, I don't give a shit about animals. I don't give a shit about the environment. Like, none of those are reasons enough for me to want to do this. Like when I say this is about getting closer to God, it's only that.
Separate conversation?
But when you say close to God, it's like
Are you
not
okay?
feeling the animals. It's
No,
part of
it
it.
has nothing to do with animals.
Yes. So
It has to do with,
Separate.
so when you go down the science of it, right? What I seem to believe or understand nowadays, the energy of life lies in when the sun rays hit this, the energy of the sun is stored within the gelatinous form of what we call water within the fruit. And when I eat it, I transform that gelatinous water into my gelatinous form of water. So the only way for me to get that pure sun energy, which God, right, whatever you want to call it, is through this transition. And that doesn't exist in me. So it's not about not killing the animal, it's about that thing I'm looking for doesn't exist in that.
Oh, yes, it does. You believe it doesn't exist in that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said me, right? That's what I said. You can believe whatever you like, and you can eat whatever you like, and I won't judge you for it.
Have you read the Fourth Stage of Water book?
Excuse me?
There's a book called The Fourth Stage of Water.
The fourth stage water. I've never read that. No.
You should. It's basically about the fact that there's a fourth stage of water that's not solid, that's not liquid, that's not gas, that
Okay.
is a gel-like form, which is basically what we're made of. And it's electrocuted water, so like basically if we were, everyone says we're 70% water, if you cut yourself normally, if that was the case, it would just squirt out.
Yeah.
Right, and so because it doesn't, it's, they're just discovering that and a whole bunch of other
Yeah,
things.
that sounds like what I'm talking about, because that's exactly, because we're not really 70% water. But I'll do, thank you for that. And of course, I was oversimplifying with my explanation, because you know, talking about books and books of information that.
Have you seen Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist guy?
Mhm.
Talk about simulation theory? Like this guy will like with great fanfare shut down anybody that like doesn't talk super scientifically. And then this woo-woo concept of like maybe we are already in simulation, and you see him like struggling with it, and the only conclusion that he can come to in his mind is like there's 50% chance.
Either we are or we aren't.
50-50. From that guy, I'm like, whoa. When I saw that, I was like, and now I'm starting to get there too.
We are in a simulation because it's like anything that we want, we can achieve.
Now that you can imagine like 150,000 club butts talking to each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
and you might ask, why? Why would anybody want to make one like this? I can think of a couple of reasons. You might want to simulate the 6 million ways that your legal trial might end. And based on if I do this, then 5% less than if I do this. And if you can press a button and run a simulation for 10 cents, you got like 2 million bots talking to each other. Maybe we're just one of those.
It's like from Avengers Endgame when they see every single way that the battle ends, and there's only one way they want.
Yeah, until they get to the point to understand that no matter how many simulations you run, it doesn't do anything about the outcomes, since it's still just probabilistic. So your simulation is pretty much worthless. Especially because you have to consider that the simulation is only framed around the framework that your mind can understand, and it's not including variables and data that your mind cannot fathom.
It's like if the wind blows in one
What was the film
direction,
that you made?
one moment.
The thing that you can't even
It's not
perceive,
how
like
it wins.
the parts of the universe that are not even within the scope of
We
our
have a new
senses.
title, we don't know what it is yet.
And something as simple as wind that
It's
can,
about how
it's
it
much
makes
more
it
complex
so
than it's blowing south.
Yeah, 22 to 20.
Wind moves ascend.
He did a lot.
Faked his whole life.
Or Elliot, if I imparted.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it's like little things about like
I'm doing that.
people like to work these
Now
different
that you're
things
back,
like
Just
who do you think that you're going to connect with? Because it's not the same cruise before.
there's
I
different
mean, some of the
Can
same.
you tell me a little bit more about
like
it?
for example, I'm in Israel, so a
It's
lot
in
of my
right now.
like the things
yeah,
I
I
see
think
people
those-
talking
Moving away from the
about
festival environment,
is like
because my previous job was
this
like
war gonna start
festival
again.
group
They're
art.
going to be
So I was like heavily in the festival space, talking to a lot of festival
Yeah.
producers and stuff like
At the end
that.
of the day, I would say it's like
And now I think I want to
like,
go
you can have all these different theories,
into
but
more
we
like
don't know.
creators and stuff like that. You guys are great.
There's so many
So,
forces
like,
outside of our control.
My new thing right now is like less travel,
Keep on
more
trying to
like
go from
sea
stage to what it is,
and
because
software
if we do that,
environments
it's
for
like,
like the next
you know,
9
we have
years.
no
Yeah,
It's
it was
like
just at
we're in a
home,
new
so
cycle period right now.
Yeah, I spent a few years going through simulations and probability theory.
So he's posting like, I'm in Bali.
Deep rabbit hole.
to do it like extreme, so it's believable.
Come on over here, guys. I want to hear from you with what you said, Matthew. Don't have to worry about money. What
Yeah.
was it, Sarah?
Scott, compost?
No, trash.
Trash. It's under the sink, right?
No, it's right beside, in front. Closest to you, not the back, is recycle.
It's,
What did you mean?
Let me reread the message I sent.
To me?
Yeah.
Usually, Yeah.
Is this something from AI or?
Whose bag is that one?
No, it's the bottom.
Who's that? Put down your bowl.
Yeah.
Hold the
So what I meant by that is, so for context, I sent this graph to you, which is the user adoption curve. These 3 lines are the fastest open source projects ever, and this is CloudBot, the vertical wall.
What's this measuring? Stars?
No, adoption.
I'm not familiar.
So
Number of contributors, right?
yeah, so this is just
Or participants.
this is time. You know,
Oh,
2021, 22,
this is
23.
measuring stars.
Yeah, which is an indicator of adoption.
What is stars?
It's like you can favorite a repository on GitHub, and it's a metric of like how many people are marking this, like this is something I want to follow.
It's a way for you to find it easier in your account. It's like harding a picture in your iPhone. So these long lines, those are like the most popular of all time. And then this thing over here.
But they should have it with other AI.
So it's
Repository.
at a stage where it hasn't reached like the, you know.
Yeah.
But most
Right.
AI
Yeah.
projects aren't even in GitHub. Like a lot of them are just in Hugging Face.
Right.
Yeah. But CloudBot makes sense because it's more something for GitHub than Hugging Face.
And this is
I
exactly
feel like
what
my ultimate goal is translating the things that you guys are saying that's like very tech savvy to like people that's not tech savvy. Because like, there's another things that's like, yeah, Hugging Face. It's like not many people know what is Hugging Face.
Hugging Face is basically GitHub, but for
Open
AI
source
models.
for AI models only.
Yeah. Whereas GitHub is it's Git for you know, your code projects, your applications, your programs. But a model is really different from that. A model is a data set and some code on top of the data set for training. And sharing that, I mean, I believe Hugging Face uses Git, right, as its version control. But
I'm not sure actually.
it's more specific for
Facebook.
like, you know, that community of people, because applications and stuff being shared around, it's gonna be different compared to,
And you can download the entire models and stuff.
and they use up so much storage.
And you can rent virtual computers and stuff.
That's another big thing with Hugging Face is that like you see a model and you click a button and it's like, all right, we've launched it on one of our partner inference providers.
Well, so I'm imagining that we could host like a Mac Mini here.
Yeah.
Why not just do that whole thing in the cloud and just have your instance of CloudBot
So-
operating on cloud servers?
2 reasons. One, privacy. Like you're renting, you know, it's still privacy. It's still more private than, you know, doing API for like.
I'm just thinking for sheer scale. If we're operating like
Cost-
a community
cost.
CloudBot,
It's way cheaper to have your local model because you have no API cost.
but it's way heavier because you need a fucking like someone managing it and a location and renting a location in each instance.
If you want a GPU server, it's gonna cost you at least 50 cents an hour to operate, you know, and that's just like a fixed cost.
But these aren't that heavy GPU use. You were
No,
saying.
but like any server that has a GPU in it, because they're so in demand, that's the market rate. It doesn't even have to, like, we're not talking about H100s you're gonna be paying like $10 an hour for. We're talking about like your basic, you know, like Ada Loveless, like GPU server that's able to do basic inference, doesn't have a lot of memory, and is, you know, the equivalent of what Mac is doing with their Apple Silicon architecture. You're gonna be looking at like 50 cents an hour.
And I'm just saying though, right, everything that you have to do, go and buy the machine, configure it, set it up, boom, have it running, secure, it's in your RV, awesome, break in, trouble, clients. Depending on that, you're still gonna want to mirror it in the cloud just for security's sake. Absolutely, right? You have to, right? Because you're not gonna manage the secure archiving.
The main
And
use
Your
case is
archiving is very cheap though.
But then even your operating system has to be mirrored somewhere so you can upload it again. In case whatever happens, God forbid the machine breaks or whatever, you've got to do that in redundancy. So that for sure. But I'm just like, if it's not.
But that's not cloud though, you can back it up with another hard.
You would be doing the same thing with the cloud server anyway.
But if it's not compute intensive, right, which is what you were saying, it's just like the the script file that's referenced for guiding what to do and when.
Yeah.
But
It is,
oh, yeah.
no, it is intensive. If you want to use it private,
No, he's meaning just for, you have CloudBot and you have your inference server, right? Like you have CloudBot's just running, like you can put that on a Raspberry Pi, it's just running those API calls.
you can,
On a
but
cloud.
yeah, but the point of the Mac Mini is kind of to run a local model so that you don't have any bills and it's private.
I thought the point of the Mac Mini as well was so that you can access the Apple ecosystem, because like a lot of these people are deploying it still with.
So I actually,
Graphics.
because I'm seriously considering buying one, so
Well, you
there's
need
one-
it because if you want all the usability of an individual user and the automations for your life, you need to have the Apple screen effectively and the actual controls for logins and things for automations if you're using those functions. If you're only doing, for instance, managing a directory, a Notion translation to a website, you're not really doing very much heavy compute.
No.
You can run that instance and the compute that you need in the cloud, and then it's copy paste 100,000
It's-
neighborhoods in the world.
It's not.
Yeah,
I'd
but
say
then you
it's
don't
not
need
as
it at all.
much. It's not as much about how like what the actual purpose is, but really about the scale, right? If you have one machine that's just Matthew's machine that's that's doing maybe some intensive tasks, but just for him, that could be less less compute power than something as simple as sanitizing a database, but for 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Right. It's because when you think about scale, you've got to now deal with a cluster of different inference providers. That's when you want to go in. That's where APIs provide so much value, because it's like you just send a request and they deal with all of that scaling, right? But then once your request hits their endpoints, you don't have control over what goes on.
And all we're doing is a directory and then pushing out digests and alerts, which is all timing related stuff. Without even getting into the fancy video recording piece, just leave that out. There's nothing even that data intensive in what we're talking about. It's like actually this refined data, right? And so to me, it starts to really look in when it's the matching, well, that's just a vector and graph database. It's also hyper lean in terms of compute.
If you want to run, if you don't care about the privacy argument, then you don't need a Mac Mini. If you're just doing API code, no, then you can even do you can have a virtual computer in your computer. You can have in your Mac, like you start it and it's like it makes a little sound and it starts up and it's like a computer in a computer and it's boxed
You
up.
just have to be a Docker.
Yeah. But the reason why you want to have a Mac Mini is one, it's easier to like give it its own account, its own email thing, That's already all like it's a workstation, and then you can run because Apple has this thing called unified memory, and they're the only one. And I know because yesterday I did some research, otherwise I didn't know that. But they have 256 gigabytes of RAM in one computer, and it's unified. And the only Windows equivalent that is available is like an NVIDIA card that costs $5,000 for one.
Well, it's because Apple has built their whole architecture on ARM.
Yeah.
And so, whereas with x86, you have your system memory, you have your video memory. With an ARM architecture, which is what is built for our phones, and Apple is now brought into saying, like, this technology is great, we can use this for
All our
everything.
MacBook Pros and
Yeah. Almost all new like applications you see even in server deployments. The big reason why Oracle did so well is because people are using ARM for everything now. And a big reason why is because you have these architectures where the memory is shared between the system and the graphics. We're talking about wanting to have my 4090 GPU is 24 gigabytes of memory. I can't add any more memory to that unless I want to break out a soldering iron and potentially wreck the graphics card. But with a Mac Mini, if I spec it out to 256 gigabytes of memory, that memory can either be used by the system or it can be used by the graphics card, wherever it feels necessary.
And these models, these language models, if you want to have it private,
Big context windows that way too.
they are that they don't fit on an iPhone because an iPhone is only 1 terabyte of memory because it needs working memory, so it needs to have like 200 gigabytes so that that whole language model can be downloaded on there, 65 billion parameters or whatever, 300 billion parameters.
So what kind of machine is needed?
So
What kind of
it lives in the RAM memory of the computer, and it just uses it like that.
Can an M1 do it? M2? Like, what do you actually need?
M2 can do it. M2
Pro,
Studio,
Max, like
the Studio, M2 Studio.
They'll all be able to do it at varying speeds depending on their GPUs that they have.
and then they need
Okay.
higher RAM or
The memory will determine how large
Yeah.
of a model you can.
The RAM is everything.
Okay.
That's more.
But if you're doing a whole town, again, right, we're now talking at the level of this, and then going 4x this for the next town, and cluster of towns probably is where this comes alive, is that it's like, you know, Mar Vista adjacent, Palms, Venice, and it's like, you know, the way that Jamie described how they do Postmates, it's like, it's really centric to each individual with their adjacent zip codes is your bubble. It's like your closest first, your next, and then after that, you know, it gets pretty big with the radius thing. But it's
What
like,
is the Postmates? Did you say?
well, they were like, they map every person for delivery based on where they work as a center. And then here's all the restaurants you might want to get delivery from. So each person had to be treated as a center, as a data center with a location-based thing. We're a little bit of both, because you're a center and you're within a location-based bubble, but you're also in a cluster of communities, online virtual communities, groups that you joined and that have said you're in, right? That's the tacit, you know, two-way consent for you to be part of. You don't need consent to be part of the thing, you just need to show that you've got a lease, a card, validation from other humans saying, oh yeah, he lives in Topanga or he comes here all the time. Like, Savada doesn't live in Topanga, but he would get a Topanga certificate from like this group and say, oh yeah, he comes, he does stuff in Topanga. Seth, who's gonna come on Wednesday night, helped with like the whole fires and everything. He was living in Agora. He became a Topangan. Everyone who was there in the fires when he was helping and coordinating and all this stuff would say, oh yeah, you're Topangan, your citizenship, right? Or
If we invite you.
Exactly.
Gotta be nice to you
But
guys.
you get an invitation and then you get an endorsement and an endorsement. So it would be, you know, Eden or, you know, Topanga.coop/Scott/invite. And I share that with people. You use that invite, I get tagged, you get tagged that you were invited by me. Endorse, you're already in endorsement with one group, with Elliot's group, with your group. Endorsement, tagged with you, and you, reciprocally. Right? Those become the proof of humanity and relationship and trust on the personal level.
I like that.
Yeah, and so it's this node that makes you the center, so always agentic that we've talked about, and that's your record has that, and with relative, like different profiles would be wrapped around you, tagged with different groups that you're associated with it. A group has an identity, the same thing. It's got its leadership that makes decisions, the board of directors, the admins on the WhatsApp group. The mods might get a certain level of authority too. It gets complicated with groups to say who has the say, who has the endorsement right? Those are all the, and then what is it that we're matching and doing work with? It's really just these profile data records.
It's pure graph, right? It's pure knowledge graph.
And then when you want to do matching, it's vectors, but and so it's not that heavy compute. It's on demand when you're looking for something, checking periodically for new stuff that comes in, and you've got a little tag, and he's built the thing to be able to do this scanning across the directory.
And the graph, the knowledge graph, I didn't notice until recently, but it's not like some special database or something. It's just a way of, it's a software way of storing stuff. Like I don't even fully still like.
What is a graph database?
Yeah. I mean, conceptually I know it's more like a branch. It's nodes and edges, and the edges represent the relationship.
Yeah, but in the thing, if you could just imagine a single cell, instead of it only correlating to a row and a thing, or multi-dimensionally where it has this one, it's as many as you like. They're like pins attached around it.
Yeah.
You could have a million tags.
No, I know conceptually.
And clustered tags that give you that, tagging that goes from the center out to correlate it to other stuff. I think that's what graph is.
But the way that data is saved on hard disk or whatever, it's no different than
A regular
song
database.
or yeah. So
Well, I mean, the way that the data is saved is informed by how it's queried, right? Because that's the most important part of the database. Isn't about how it's saved; it's about how it's retrieved. If it was just about how it was saved, I mean, you could build out this whole system just with AWS S3, and every document is just a file in an object store. But that becomes complex when we're trying to query, when we're trying to retrieve. And so when you have like a regular SQL database that's relational, the way we're querying it is through SQL language. When you have graph databases, you're using a different language, maybe it's like GraphQL, to be able to do those traversals. We have data in a graph database that's stored, with your nodes and your edges, but the whole purpose of that is that when I identify a node, I identify Scott, I can then very quickly see, okay, these are all of the parts that lead into it and all the parts that lead out of it. And then I can go up or go down and traverse through the entire map, however I need. It's all about the query, it's all about the retrieval. That's the most important part of the database.
In a graph database.
Any database.
Any database. Okay, so vector.
Vector, again, we store the data as, just a high dimensional array. And, we could store.
What is that?
that doesn't mean
So
anything.
multiple dimensional.
So a vector,
Decimal number. I think.
a vector embedding is a mathematical representation of a piece of say text. It could be any sort of data, but let's say text, that's generated by an AI model. And now they're not necessarily deterministic. Different models will give different things. There's different qualities of different models, but we have this dimensional array. And so what we can do with those dimensional arrays is we can take two pieces of text, convert them to this mathematical number, and then compare them to see, okay, these are very similar, or these are very different. And what the vector database does is not only does it just store these numbers and the metadata, but then it gives us functions to be able to say, okay, this is the relevant, other records depending on k-nearest neighbor, or approximate nearest neighbor, or cosine similarity, or all these, or hybrid retrieval, hybrid search. So many different ways of doing the retrievals and the queries. It's going to depend based on what you actually want to use it for. That's the purpose of the database, because otherwise I could take those numbers and just save them in a Word document.
Yeah. But to make them searchable and findable, so it's different sections of the number also represents it, or is it the whole number that's always used for the query? Is it in sections? Is it?
It's the whole. Well, it's
So it's like universal product code with different significant signifiers
Exactly.
added on. So depending on how you structure your vector database,
It depends if
will
you're
also
using dense vectors or sparse vectors, but in theory, it's like, imagine you have, a two-dimensional grid, right? And we're trying to relate something there. I say the word cat, and I have the word dog, and then we can see on the x-axis they're very similar, but on the y-axis they're apart, right? We can use AI to try and semantically map out similar relationships with words or tokens. And instead of doing this on a two-dimensional space, what if we did this with 4,000 dimensions, right? Then you get like an incredible amount of resolution into the semantics, depending on how that AI model was trained and how its data is able to help it understand relationships between words.
And we are complex, and the more we get into complex profiles on multiple factors, even just your one main gig is a lot just to get practice.
Yeah.
So it's that thing of like, start with a stupid directory, keep it relatively simple. You're looking for a video of the person, that's just a single link, right? It's just, yes has video, it's here, right? You don't need to know anything contextual about it yet or anything. It's just like, that's my profile video on Instagram. Right? It's super simple, and then everything else is just what goes into your profile for different profiling functions and asks the same way. This is what I'm asking for now with low or high resolution query for me. Right? I mean, is that more or less what we're up to right now?
Well, it's going to depend with how we structure the queries. So I've got, the JSON documents or the markdown documents. And then we'll be able to generate the embeddings from those markdown documents. If we chunk them.
Those are vector embeddings you're talking about?
Yeah, we'll create the vector embeddings from the text. So we take the text, turn it into the numbers, and then we'll be able to see, okay, these different listings, these seeks, these offers are very similar. These people, these groups are similar, or they're not similar at all. And then the granularity that we get into it, that's really going to inform the next step of the architecture decisions in terms of what do we know, what don't we know, how do we want to best do those retrievals, because there's dozens of different ways to query data.
And are there templates for generating those embedded,
Yeah.
embeds, so that you're basically using best practice
Yeah,
that
because
correlates to search
I
functions?
think the way you're saying is like real computer science, like how to. I mean, you can tell that you probably studied that, right? You had to go to an exam and really understand it. So from my rookie approach, that wanted to learn how to use it, there's different companies that make these vectorization embedding. They call it embedding models, and so it's from the user perspective, it feels kind of like uploading a document.
Mm-hmm. There's no prompting really with them.
There's no calculation that happens in my mind when I'm embedding something. It's just here I have a bunch of emails. I have a bunch of emails, and I'm gonna vector embed them. I upload it, and I click vector embed, and there's 1,500. There's whatever, they have all these dimensions. I just know that.
And then you choose the appropriate level of dimensions to avoid unnecessary complexity. So it's a balance between.
It's a balance. You don't want too many, you don't want too few.
And sometimes if it's supercomputer, it's basically sounds like it's what drives a lot of AI.
Yeah.
It's the backbone of all of AI.
Is
vector
embedding.
embedding.
To find the patterns in 4 ASCII character
Well, it's how when you make a query, when you inference AI and you make a prompt, it's taking the tokenized words that you're giving it, creating vectors, looking back up through its training data and seeing, okay,
what's similar to that?
Any numbers that resemble this, because it only has a limited context window. So this is a way that you can say
you can create a more contracted pattern. So it's what's it called? Like a zip file. You're actually encoding the information in more contracted form, so it can find pattern in less.
It's like we're kind of splitting. If you can imagine AI as 2 parts. You've got the part where it understands, and then the part where it reasons. We're kind of we're using the part that's understanding, and then I guess we're going to be leaving the reasoning up to the humans, where we see okay, this is what I understand based on how you describe yourself, right? And these are similar, posts based on how I understand as a computer those posts work. We're not necessarily doing the reasoning. That would be a full AI model, right, end-to-end stack of an LLM.
Cool. I gotta get ready for 1, 2, 3 for the 2 o'clock call with Katrina. Take a break. Let's come back at 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the move. Help me clean. This stuff's clean. We're gonna go into the second dishwasher. Give it a good rinse. No glitchy bits on it. Just got it clean, and then it goes in here. A light clean, no soap. There's no chunks.
mind while I'm sitting here. Trying to figure out if I want to give this whole quad block test run. This guy is so convinced of it that he makes me want to try it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, when I see it, man, I sit there, like, you know, the painstaking holding on to documents that I've had to do for, like, court, you know? And even after years of, like, how, you know, still it's like, oh, you have to find that, you know, that appraisal or, like, that.
What are you looking for?
There's no easy way to just be like,
Those things I'm not really too worried about. What I would want to use it for is more like a super frame. So
I'm gonna hunt that complete trailer out with like smart home everything. Sorry, you were saying?
I would like it to observe data that I'm observing,
Yeah.
but if I can only look at 3 things at a time, it could look at 30 things at a time for me
Yeah.
and draw the same conclusions based on what I'm training it, right? That's my use case.
Look.
Like, I don't need to organize my emails and stuff like that.
See, this was the company that I was pursuing for myself, Holistica, and so now it's a little bit like, oh yeah, you can see already that there's going to be a lot of companies like that for sure. But this was like from 3 years ago, and it's like you have your Apple Watch, you have your Oura Ring, you have your Nike shoes with your little thing in it with the app that connects. Then you have your Strada for cycling. Maybe you like sailboat, and you have like an app for the wind. You have the app to count the calories, whatever. However many or little that you have, and you have maybe 23andMe, and none of it talks to each other. Even they all plug into Apple. There's a thing like Health Kit. I don't know why Apple hasn't really done it, but the idea of this was like capture all of the data, like what you said, and make sense of it.
Can it read data from an API?
Yeah.
So I could feed it data from an API, then tell it do these kind of calculations
Yes.
from that API, and then based on these parameters, I want to give me this kind of output.
Yeah, or put it in a knowledge graph and be like, find patterns that I didn't know were there, emergent patterns from all the data. Like maybe
What
you'll
kind
just-
of programming language would I need to know to give it those kind of instructions?
English.
So how do I tell it to, let's say, connect to an API and take this kind of data out of it?
Yeah, which API? I don't know. It depends which API.
Okay.
If it's the Oura Ring, I would. I'm not saying this to be facetious, but I would say like, how do I get? Tell me, and then I'll be like, okay, do it.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. What kind of interface?
That's why I said I don't mean to be facetious.